Does my microphone sound okay, by the way? Listen up, all you beautiful freaks. Welcome back to the Rogue Room. I am your host, the Abigail Beck, the only one. There's no other one. I am the one Abigail Beck that exists. All others are piss-poor imitators. How's it going, folks? Welcome back in. How have you been? How's your day been? What have you been up to? What have you been up to? Your quality isn't great, so you can't tell. Well, fair. That wouldn't help. But anyway. I am number one. I am the number one. And yeah, we're going to talk about the fact that Twitch got leaked today. So, starting out with a PSA, change your passwords and enable two-factor authentication. That is something that we should be considering, I suppose. And there's an article regarding this, and there's also a tweet regarding this that might, by all means, change your passwords, but there is a tweet that suggests, like a tweet from a streamer, that suggests it might not be potentially as bad as it sounds. Let's talk about this whole concept. Password changed and all your extensions are messed up now. Great. Yeah, I had to reset my... Oh, is my chatbot enabled? Yeah, my chatbot is fixed. My chatbot's fine. Is Streamlabs... Let me quickly check Streamlabs. I might need to relog into Streamlabs, otherwise my alerts might not work. Maybe? I don't know, actually. Let me have a look. Let me have a look at what I've been logged into. Let me see here. Stream alerts. Let me log into... Oh yeah, that's... Okay, Coffee should be fine as far as I can tell. Because that's a browser source. Streamlabs, you log into with Twitch. Zaxton, we're going to talk about what's happening with Twitch in just a moment. I'm going to log into Streamlabs right now just to make sure it is working. Because I did have to log back into my chatbot. Streamlabs seems to be working just fine. Okay. Cool. Stuff happened. So, Twitch got leaked. The entirety of Twitch got leaked. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some other stuff, including body image. Based off of that one, we're having another body image episode. What happened with Facebook? We're going to go over that too, because that happened on like Monday or something, a couple of days ago, and I missed the story. Was meant to report on it yesterday, and I missed the chance because we were just having such a good chat. Refusing to get off your bed and get ready for a 2-hour lecture. You should go do that. Go get ready for your lecture. It's good for you. Well, I would argue, generally speaking. It's probably good for you. I should go back to uni, honestly. Facebook outage and Twitch hack not connected. As it stands right now, the Twitch thing seems to have happened as little as like 3 hours ago, maybe 4 hours ago. It's very, very, very recent. Hard to tell if the two are related. I haven't actually read the article yet, but I don't know. Anyways. And sitting down for 30 minutes. Nice. Nice. That's what you want. Unban request. Don't need it. What? What the fuck? Let me have a look. I should have a look at my unban requests. There is one. Holy shit. Okay. Let me see it. I want to see it. Oh, don't delete them. Oh, yeah, don't need it. What the fuck? I would prefer to deal with the unban request myself, by the way. I find that shit amusing. Don't hide that from me. If anyone's deleting my unban request, let me look at them. I'm the streamer. Let me have a look at them. Anyway. Today you've been telling Americans to stay in their lane with Australian politics. That's a good point. Thank you for giving a Hex Slinky. We will talk about that specifically, yes, because there were protests. We did cover these yesterday. There were protests in New York City about Australia and lockdowns and all that, like with regards to COVID, and they're saying... Honestly, I didn't realize how ridiculous it was, but apparently there are some people who genuinely believe that Australia, given the lockdown situation, which is we're coming out of it in like the next couple of weeks, right? In fact, in as little as 5 days, we are coming out of our major restrictions. Some people in the US apparently seem to believe, and I don't know where they got this information, that Australia is in some kind of North Korea situation. Like, we're at that level of restriction, that level of removal of our freedoms, and it's like, no, that's not what's going on. Things are actually pretty fine. Things are okay, Americans. And they're chanting, like, save Australia and all this. It's like, as an Australian, I can tell you it's not that bad. It's pretty shit that most shops are closed, but I can still go get groceries. I can still go out for exercise. There's not, like... armored police with machine guns marching down the streets in gas masks, ordering civilians back into their homes. Like, this isn't an authoritarian state, guys. We're okay. We don't need you protesting in New York City streets over us. It's not... Yeah, we still get paid by the government, for God's sake. It's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. But what's funny is, like, I guarantee you, and somebody tweeted about this that had a good point that covered basically everything. But yeah, like, what was I going to say? I've forgotten now. Jesus. Yeah. I guarantee you most of the people protesting, save Australia, we have to save Australia. Can they even pinpoint Australia on a map? Ask any of those protesters what language they think Australians speak. Oh, I think they speak Australian. Guarantee you. Alright? Yeah. Do it. Go up to one of those protesters, ask them what language we speak in Oz. Do it, mate. See, the reason I say this, here's a fun anecdote. The reason I say that those protesters would say that, one of them might think on it for a second and go, English? You know. The reason I say that, though, is because I have heard a very, very Australian woman, okay? I was on public transport back in the days when I didn't know how to drive. And I think it was about 20 or so, it doesn't really matter. And I get on the bus, and I go sit down on the bus. I go sit down in my seat, and I hear this woman further down towards the front of the bus talking to someone, another passenger, back in the days when you could actually converse with people. And she was discussing, like, schooling. She was discussing her child's schooling, and she was saying how she didn't agree with the fact that her child was learning to speak Indonesian in class, because they do. In primary school, they start teaching you the basics of another language, generally speaking. It's the language of a nation close by or whatever. I think I learned Indonesian in school, too. And she said to the person that she was chatting to, I don't want my kid learning any other language. I want her to learn proper Australian first. Proper Australian. Where you punctuate sentences with cunt. Anyway, so, this is why I have questions about the knowledge banks of those protesters in New York City. I highly doubt they're aware of the situation here. We're okay, folks. Like, I dare say the problem, like the reason the protests in New York even happened in the first place, are because those people at the protests are clued into certain circles of social media, where over here in Australia we've got these anti-vax protesters breaking restrictions, breaking COVID restrictions, basically making the COVID cases worse. Like, there have been numbers of COVID cases directly linked to those protests. Like, increases in case numbers directly linked to those protests, which wouldn't happen, and get this, the restrictions would actively go down if you would just get vaccinated, wear a mask, and stop attending fucking protests. Your freedoms are not being restricted by the government. You are the reason you don't have... You still have freedoms. This is the thing, like, our freedoms are not gone. We're still a free country by whatever metric you decide to define us. At the moment, we are simply largely unable to go back to work. We're largely unable to socialize in big ways. And yeah, there are certain things that the government is expecting the populace to do so we can get back to normal, right? Anyway, so, and that is the stuff like getting vaccinated and wearing a mask and all that. And here in New South Wales, at least, on the 11th, we are opening the state back up again. A number of stores around my local shopping centre have got little signs up saying, we're reopening on the 11th, right? Which is great. Okay, fine, cool. So we get to reopen and we get to get back to the way things used to be, as long as you still abide by the existing restrictions, like still get vaxxed. And vaccination rates are going up, so like there's more people with single dose, more people with double dose. And yeah, just like keep wearing your masks, keep social distancing, restrict your socializing. You know, you don't really need to have big, massive parties with tons of people. Get over it, you know. Once everything has simmered down a little bit and people are vaccinated regularly, then we can go back to that shit. But as it stands right now, like, we're not living in some, authoritarian dictatorship. Although, one could argue that the election of the Premier Dominic Perrottet after the resignation of Gladys Berejiklian might spell things a bit worse, a bit more conservative leaning for the state. Because within the Liberal Party, which is the right-wing party here in Australia, members of the Liberal Party have referred to Dominic Perrottet specifically as the most conservative premier since World War II, which is worrying. And I showed you the post yesterday on stream, but I'll show it again now. A post he made back when Donald Trump was elected on Facebook. Let me open this. This is the person that is now going to be lording over the state of New South Wales. So if you want to talk about restrictions and you want to talk about freedoms and all this, at least in New South Wales, we now have to deal with this guy. Some people seem surprised by Donald Trump's success in the US election, but this result is a victory for people who have been taken for granted by the elites in the political establishment for too long. There is a silent majority, a forgotten people, who feel the values they hold dear are no longer being represented by the political class. In fact, these values and the people who hold them are looked upon with contempt. If you stand for free speech, you are not a bigot. If you question man-made climate change, you are not a skeptic. If you support stronger borders, you are not a racist. If you want a plebiscite on same-sex marriage, this is before we had legal same-sex marriage in Australia, by the way. You are not a homophobe. By definition, you are. If you love your country, you are not an extremist. I mean, that's a fair point. Like, you can love your country and not be an extremist. But it's rather telling that a conservative thought to make that immediate connection. If you love your country, it's just going to reassure all the extremists out there that they're not extremists. What is that saying? Anyway. These are mainstream values that people should be free to articulate without fear of ridicule or persecution by the left. It's time for a new political conversation that reflects the concerns of everyday people. It's time for a conservative spring. I want to vomit. That is from 2016, but let's be real with ourselves. Do you think politicians change? Especially ones like him, especially when his own conservative party that he belongs to has said he is the most conservative premier since World War II. Yeah, the radical left, he's silent majority fascist dog whistle, absolutely. Yeah, I know, right? When you mentioned the elites, finally Donald Trump's able to do something about those darn elites with lots of money, like... Does Dom not realize who Donald Trump is? Anyway. Yeah, so we had a plebiscite on gay marriage about 3 years ago in 2018, and I think they even did a survey before the plebiscite asking the population, would you be in favor? Like, I'm fairly certain, I'm like almost 100% certain they did a nationwide survey asking people, would you be in favor of gay marriage? And it was a universal yes. Like, I think it was like 80% of the country were just like, yeah. And then they wasted, was it $35 million or $350 million? It was a lot of money running a plebiscite like getting the country to vote on gay marriage, rather than just using that original poll that was nationwide. It was basically a census poll, and just doing it. They had to waste the money to legislate gay marriage. It was stupid as all fuck. Stupid as all fuck. Anyway. Yeah, was it 2017 or 2018? It was only a few years ago, and now I look back on it and I'm like, why? Like, it's one of those things where it's just like, you think logically we've had gay marriage for so long. 3 years. Anyway, Donald Trump's a terrible politician. He's a woeful politician, but he's not really technically a politician. What is he doing now? What's his gig nowadays? Is he just like trying to raise money to do another run in 2024? What's his deal? What's he doing at the moment? Let's not act like Donald Trump went into politics to better the nation of America. He went into politics for his own personal gain. Like, that's always what it was about. It was always about him. This is why you don't want to respect... I mean, don't respect politicians at all. Do not stand politicians. But, like, unequivocally, you simply cannot deny the fact that Donald Trump went into politics, went into the presidential race for himself and himself alone. That is not someone you want governing a country. Okay? He did that strictly for his own personal gain. And there are so many... what's the term I'm looking for? So many testimonies to this based on, like, numerous people. He's met so many people over the years. Thousands of people have interacted with him, and there's a lot of stories saying he's a chronic narcissist. The only person he ever thinks of is himself. And to add on to this, there's more to this story, and I've lost it. To add on to this, I can't remember. But anyway, also is suing Twitter to get his account back. I love that people. I love that people have this opinion. I love that conservatives have this opinion of, we're gonna start our own Twitter with all our own free speech, and then it doesn't work. Like, they started Parler, or they start. Oh, that's my cat. Okay, hi. They started Parler, or they there was another one as well, I think, or they started moving to Telegram or whatever it was. And the moment that, like, Parler and Telegram and whatever else doesn't pan out for them, they go to sue Twitter to get their accounts back. Graham Lennon did the same thing. He ran off somewhere else and he's like, I want my Twitter account back, because they know that's actually where their biggest reach is. It's fucking hilarious. Sadly, it's his crowd that still cannot get over him. It's all, yeah, exactly. The hilarious thing about Donald Trump's cult is that they legitimately believe that he won that election. He didn't. And he didn't win either of them. Like, the only reason... Oh, yeah, Frank's speech, which turned out to be just like a streaming service for the MyPillow guy, didn't it? Lennon wants his Steam account back, he does. We'll talk about the Twitch leak in a second. I'm on a roll here. I want to continue on this train of thought, and then we'll talk about the Twitch leak. But where were we going with this? Blah, 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 blah. There was a point. It's like when a celebrity leaves a show and they want their old host back, not an actual president. Yeah, like, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Like, a lot of people have gone down this road, and maybe this, you could argue, this is the corruption of the social media digital age or something. Misinformation is rampant, but, like, Donald Trump didn't win the 2016 election by the popular vote. He won because of the Electoral College. And then he lost the Electoral College and the popular vote in 2020. And people still can't concede. The Electoral College should be abolished. I'll just say that right now. Most white men his age are narcissists. I hate to agree, but I kind of, yeah. Like, it's honestly, I've met men his age and older who are not. But yeah, like, I've also met a lot who fit the bill, and it's a result of patriarchal attitudes in Western society. Men are told that they are deserving of that respect. You know, from men from that era, men from when Trump was a kid and from earlier, were taught that they should value their stoicism and their masculinity, and then as a result they gain all the respect in the world, and they can't handle not having that. They can't handle someone disagreeing with them, generally speaking. Where were we? He was basically abused and became an abuser. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Bets on the new premier trying to outlaw gay marriage again. I am, honestly, very relevant point. Very cogent point there. I am honestly kind of scared given what happened in Texas with the abortion ban. Which, I don't know if they're still debating that. I don't know what they're doing over in Texas. I should check up on that story, because that is scary. Because anytime you start repealing civil rights, it's not going to stop at one thing. And yeah, the Texas thing, the Texas abortion bill thing. So yeah, they did the 6-week heartbeat bill thing, which is bullshit. And then it's bullshit that you should restrict abortions to only within that 6-week period. But they went from abortions. The same guy who put forth the bill, the same guy who architected the bill for the 6-week heartbeat thing, then immediately moved on to let's repeal sodomy laws. Let's ban gay sex. Immediately. There wasn't even a breather period. The heartbeat bill got through, and then he's like, okay, let's fuck the gays over. Straight away. And if this is what happens with the new premier, expect even more, expect abortion rights to be under attack. Expect transition-related healthcare to be under attack. That's one thing that worries me. This is a very, very conservative guy we've got as our premier. Worse than Gladys, somehow. I don't know how you could be worse than Gladys. At least Gladys was just generally incompetent and corrupt, but she didn't really seem to give much of a fuck about civil rights, and I'd rather someone who's indifferent than someone who seems to be actively against civil rights. Anyway, yeah, Fred Trump does not seem like a caring father. Is he alive? He's probably dead, right? The abortion ban is foot in the door if it passes. Fucking shit. Yeah, I know, Roe v. Wade, it seems like one of those historical cases where it's why are we even discussing Roe v. Wade anymore? It should just be done and dusted. There's no reason to go back on Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade and the Coat Hangers. I'm going to start a band called Roe v. Wade and the Coat Hangers. We're going to write songs about abortions. That's an old joke. Sorry. Meme channel? Let me check the meme channel. What's in there? Me after accident. I think I saw this before, but I didn't read it. Me after accidentally stepping on my pet's tail, my pet crushing my... Wait, Draco, did someone already do it? Did someone already do it? Don't tell me someone already did it. Don't tell me somebody's already taken the name. Damn it. Anyway, wait, wouldn't I color to the skin? Where was that a part of the thing? Isn't it a good thing if he's narcissistic about the good things? No, because he's only gloating about himself. It doesn't matter what it is, he's only gloating about himself. And when it comes to Trump, of course he is going to nitpick the things that get this. It's not the good things he did, it's the things his base sees as good. And he's going to brag about those things specifically because he knows it galvanizes his audience. It's not a good thing. He's not... Oh, no, cut it. Fucking... Damn it. Okay, enough abortion jokes. And it needs to be legislated as a protection for women /vagina/uterus havers. Yes. Here's a flex. There you go. Boom. I'm on a roll tonight. Fuck. That energy drink's hitting like a truck. Anyway, fuck the gays over so we can't fuck each other, which... Did I see that 60 Minutes interview with the FB whistleblower? No, I didn't. Incredibly interesting. She took the right channels and is highlighting what's exactly wrong with Facebook right now. No. Do you have a link to that? Am I allowed to watch a 60 Minutes interview on stream, and how long is that? Excuse me. The only thing he did that was good was start up a move for withdrawal for Afghanistan, which was always going to be a complete cluster, and he didn't even do it. Hello, Looper. How you going? Welcome in. How's it hanging? Long, loose, and full of juice. Anyways. Let's talk about Twitch. Should we talk about Twitch, or should we keep going with politics? Should we keep going with politics? I mean, I'm cool to go with politics. We can talk about the Facebook thing. Have no clue what is allowed. It's tricky. It's tricky when you're reacting to stuff. There's a few stories I want to cover tonight specifically. Namely, I would like to talk... I've got an Al Jazeera article on the Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp hack. We've got the Twitch leak thing, and we've got Instagram promoting glorifying eating disorders, which is wonderful. people that make laws about uteruses need to have them. Yeah, I agree with this, Kicker. Like, honestly, it's a lot of people making decisions for other groups of people. Have you noticed this, especially with regard to Western society? With regard to any modern society, really. Like, if there are lawmakers, there is going to be a controlling majority of people who act as though they have the best knowledge of what to do moving forward politically. And obviously what that means is, broadly speaking, we're going to encounter things like abortion laws that are being drafted by men, right? Or we're seeing anti-trans laws that are being drafted by cis people. We're seeing repeals of gay rights being made by heterosexual people. Anytime there is a law that, generally speaking, targets BIPOC communities, is going to be authored by white people. Like, you see the pattern here, right? You see how this works. Trans women may indeed be included in that if they get uterus transplants by having kids. Interesting. I know that cis women can get uterus implants, and as it stands right now, I think there are people who are eager to experiment with the idea of uterus implants in trans women, but it hasn't been done yet because it seems like there might be a lot of potential backlash that blow back on the medical community abroad, you know, when it comes to transition-related surgeries. Anyone else struggling to load my player? I hope not. I can see. Well, I mean, I'm watching it from my end. There's also like a lot of fear-mongering narrative when it comes to the idea of uterus transplants. Like, people are going to be slaughtering women in third world countries to steal their uteruses and donate them to wealthy white trans women over in the Western world or something like that. That's an argument I've heard. Please censor potentially triggering words like that. Which words? I need to know which words. Because we can maybe, if we want to, we can add in censor filters. Anyway, don't know if you can really... Yeah, you can't really escape that in democratic legislature. That's true. Like, the problem is not necessarily that minority groups are not voting for politicians they think will work in their best interests. It's that, like we mentioned last night with the gerrymandering and things like that, voter suppression is a very real thing. There are many people who simply cannot vote who are members of minority groups that want to elect officials that will serve their best interests as a community, make things better for them. Twitch player was crashing repeatedly on Firefox. Plenty of women who would donate the uteruses don't need to steal any. Yeah, exactly. Could theoretically grow one from stem cells, arguably. What word needs to be censored? I'm sorry. Oh, do we need... Oh, the R word. It's the R word. I went back and I saw it's the R word. I would just argue like R asterisk PE for that one, because that's a pretty heavy word, and I know there are some people in here who are perhaps a bit... I didn't even see that message. Sorry. Yeah, that would be worth censoring. Romeo, by the way, if you have the link to that interview, I'd love to see it. Anyway, let's do a bit of news, because we're about half an hour into the stream now. Just about half an hour into the stream now. Let's talk about this, because this is curious. I only found out about this today, of course, because it only happened today. Funnily enough. This was posted... Fuck, I can't even tell. 9:19 a.m. Was that my time? I don't know. Maybe it is, actually. At any rate, I'd only heard about this a few hours before stream started. The entirety of Twitch has reportedly been leaked. Source codes and user payouts among the data released in a 128GB torrent. Oh, hang on. Let me find something really quickly, because I think I just reloaded that page without meaning to. Not our time. Okay. History. Recently closed tabs. Where is it? There was a tweet relating to this. Not that one. I'll have to find it. Give me a second while I get this tweet up, because this is relevant to the story overall. Oh, here we go. I've got it now. So, let's discuss this particular topic. Can you share some news and some tweets? Yes, you can if you would like. If you've got something to throw at me. Alright, so, tweet was at like 5:30. Okay. There we go. An anonymous hacker claims to have leaked the entirety of Twitch, including its source code and user payout information. This part is particularly interesting, because we've got this guy here saying, holy shit, I'm on the list, and they said they leaked everything. But it's horseshit. Twitch is a tiny fraction of my income compared to YouTube and sponsors. $133,000 over 3 years. Last 600 days is about $40K. My analytics are breaking if I try to do 900 days, but I'm pretty certain I didn't make $100K in 2019. So at the very least, we've got a step in the direction of this information might be falsified, or it might just generally not be reliable. That said, still treat this as a security risk and move towards changing your password and maybe enabling two-factor authentication. But yeah, in his replies, they said the people who compiled the list did the maths wrong, and there's an updated list. Oh, okay, and the numbers checked out. Okay, that's a bit more worrying. Alright, let's have a look here. So, some mad lad did post streamer revenue numbers, though, in case you want to know how much bank they're making before taxes. I have seen this stuff, which is honestly not surprising. Like, I look at these numbers, and even if these are inaccurate, I'm still not shocked that Asmongold would be making that much, or however much, you know. But, you know, it is worth considering that some of the stats might not be complete. And this is the original tweet. I think this is probably going to be the one that's covered in the thing, but anyway. Twitch.tv got leaked like the entire website. Source code with comments for the website and various console/phone versions. References to an unreleased Steam competitor, which is interesting. Payouts, encrypted passwords, that kind of thing. I'd post the magnet link, but I'd get banned instantly. So it's on G and T now if you're curious. It's also quite big, so I'll sort through it tomorrow. We just looked at that. Grabbed Vapor, the code name for Amazon's Steam competitor, seems to integrate most of Twitch's features as well as a bunch of game-specific support like Fortnite and PUBG. Just now, a couple of hours ago. Yeah, these tweets are as recent as 4 hours ago, I think. Yeah, roughly 4 hours ago. These are 4chan boards. G and T are 4chan boards. And it wasn't unreleased. They just cancelled it. There we go. Also includes some Unity code for a game called Vape World, which I assume is some kind of VR chat thing. Some Vape World assets, including some 3D emotes with specular and albedo maps. I don't have whatever version of Unity installed that they used, so I'm limited in what assets I can get caps of with stuff like Blender and RenderDoc. There's custom Unity plugins here for devs too, so there's some images. Don't believe anything on 4chan. That is worth considering. If anyone that's savvy to Unity, GameMaker, Engine, GameMaker Gangrise, I'm sorry, I don't know where I got Engine from. Engine, because I'm looking at Devil Engine. Wants to try and compile one of these projects, be my guest. I want to see what this thing actually is. And then, yeah, I'm going to bed. Here's my SoundCloud. Clearly, they are a video game developer. Yeah, they're boards. They're 4chan boards. It could be BS. It's vaporware. I mean, it could be. So let's have a look at this article on Video Games Chronicle. The user posted a 125 gigabyte torrent link to 4chan on Wednesday, stating that the leak was intended to foster more disruption and competition in the online video streaming space because their community is a disgusting, toxic cesspool. Snello, Haley, how you doing? And I mean, I agree. Honestly, if we can get some actual competition in the Twitch streaming, in the video streaming space. Can we do that, please? VGC can verify that the files mentioned on 4chan are publicly available to download as described by the anonymous hacker. One anonymous source told VGC that the leaked data is legitimate, including the source code for the Amazon-owned streaming platform. Internally, Twitch is aware of the breach, the source said, but it's believed the data was obtained as recently as Monday. We've requested comment from Twitch and will update this story when it replies. The leaked data reportedly includes the entirety of Twitch's source code with comment history going back to its early beginnings, creator payouts from 2019, mobile, desktop, and console Twitch clients, proprietary SDKs and internal AWS services used by Twitch, every other property that Twitch owns, including IGDB and CurseForge. I forgot about this. An unreleased Steam competitor codenamed Vapor. That's really on the nose, by the way. I didn't mention that. From Amazon Game Studios, Twitch internal red teaming tools designed to improve security by having staff pretend to be hackers. I just fucking noticed something. Fucking knew it. Okay. Sorry, I've just been thinking about the fact that every motherfucker on this platform's been playing New World recently. It's a fucking Amazon game. Of course they have. That just fucking clicked. I don't. That just fucking. I mean, yeah, it's a new game, of course. Like most people are going to be playing the new game, but like, Why is everyone playing New World and sucking its dick so fucking hard? It's made by Amazon! It looks like dog shit. I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you. Anyway. And yeah, they're sponsored most of the time. It's a solid wooden... Like, this is an actual... This is a desk made out of solid wood. It's fine, trust me. Anyway, this desk is gonna last me until I'm like... I was gonna say 38, but I'm 32. That's only 6 years. 68, 69, whatever, anyway. Some Twitter users have started making their way through the 125 gigabytes of information that is leaked, with one claiming that the torrent also includes encrypted passwords, and recommending that users enable two-factor authentication to be safe. It's a very solid desk, it is. It really is. And also, like, it's one big piece, so getting it into my room was really fucking hard. Anyway. There you go, biceps for ya. Us. I am energetic, holy shit. Okay, so there's the leak. If you have a Twitch account, it's recommended that you also turn on two-factor authentication. Do that anyway. Just do that wherever you can, which ensures that even if your password is compromised, you still need your phone to prove your identity using either SMS or an authenticator app. Yeah, so get your passwords. Fix the passwords up. Or yeah, if you use the Authy app, you can use the Authy app, yeah. So the SMS 2FA system is down at the moment, which makes sense. If you turn on two-factor ID, log on to Twitch, click your avatar and choose settings, go to security and privacy, then scroll down to the security setting, choose edit two-factor authentication to see if it's already activated. I haven't done this actually. Let me just quickly check. I'm pretty sure I've got 2FA on. I didn't think. Let me have a look really quickly. I'm fairly certain. Not enable additional... yeah, it's enabled. Okay, cool. You have to... Oh, yeah, you have to have 2FA on the stream now. Pfft, doy. Okay, continuing. The torrent also reportedly includes Unity code for a game called Vape World, which appears to be a chat software based on Amazon's unreleased Steam competitor Vapor. Why is it called Vape World? That's cringe. Meanwhile, Vapor, the code name for the alleged in-development Steam competitor, is claimed to integrate many of Twitch's features into a bespoke game store. Finally, the leaked documents allegedly show that popular streamers such as Shroud, Nick Merckx, and Dr. Lupo have earned millions from working with the popular streaming platform. No shit. Like, is that news? No? Not really? The gross payouts. So, yeah, we've got some... Here's a more comprehensive list of leaked Twitch payouts. I will keep updating this thread as more comes out. So we've got like XQC, Hassan, Destiny, Sakuno, Mizkif, Ludwig. More comprehensive list. There's some numbers if you want to look at those. Amazon, we get it, you vape. The anonymous leaker has stated that this is just the first part of the content due to be leaked, but hasn't stated what they also plan to also release. Twitch has regularly found itself under fire from creators and users who feel the site doesn't take enough action against problematic members of the Twitch community. Last month, a group of Twitch streamers called on other channels and viewers to boycott the site for 24 hours as a response to hate raids. VGC has not downloaded the entire torrent, but can confirm it does contain 125 gigabytes of data. On the same day as the campaign was initially announced, Twitch posted a thread on Twitter explaining that it was attempting to stop hate raids, but it was not a simple fix. No one should have to experience malicious and hateful attacks based on who they are or what they stand for, it stated. Well, I mean, people should be attacked for being Nazis. If you stand for being a Nazi, then yeah, you should be under attack. You should experience malicious and hateful attacks if you're a Nazi. Otherwise, generally no. But if you're a Nazi, I don't think that's a controversial opinion, I hope. This is not the community we want on Twitch, and we want you to know we are working hard to make Twitch a safer place for its creators. Hate spam attacks are the result of highly motivated bad actors, and you do not have a simple fix. And we've already sort of gone over this stuff, but we'll go over it again. Your reports have helped us take action. We've been continually updating our site-wide banned word filters to help prevent variations on hateful slurs and removing bots when identified. We've been building channel-level ban evasion detection and account improvements to combat this malicious behavior for months. However, as we work on solutions, bad actors work in parallel to find ways around them, which is why we can't always share details. XQC pulling almost $1 million a month. Are you shocked, though? Are you surprised? I wouldn't be surprised. Again, he's one of the most popular creators on the platform, so it's kind of just like, yeah, okay. Makes sense. Anyway. Okay, so there's that. There's what we have so far about that. We don't know any further details. We only know like the basic reality of it is that Twitch got leaked. And yeah, agreed. Ace is like I have no clue what the heck is true with these so far. So it's worth taking this with a grain of salt. But in any circumstance like this, it is worth changing your passwords. It's worth enabling two-factor authentication. It's worth making little changes to make yourself safer on the platform. Maybe even consider, like, if you have other social media attached to Twitch or anything else of that nature, maybe change those passwords too, because security breaches like this can spiral into other things. So, you know, I made a new password entirely, which is really actually kind of bold for me. I made a new password for a thing. Can you believe it? I won't lie, I've had a habit of using the same few passwords. I cycle them out every so often, so I get new ones. But yeah, it was kind of, if you are a Nazi, you need to be attacked. Flashbacks to people named Mussolini being in the Italians' capital government as of today. Oh shit. What's the new password? Password 1. It used to just be password, now it's password 1. Yeah. You may tell a joke, Skylar, yes. Yeah, his granddaughter, and this is funny, like, even considering that Jim Carrey must atone for his sins against the transgender community. We can still acknowledge the beauty, the sheer wondrousness of the fact that Jim Carrey had beef with Mussolini's granddaughter on Twitter. Who remembers this? You are a bastard. Mussolini's granddaughter enters a Twitter feud with Jim Carrey over his drawing of the dead dictator. This is from 2 years ago. 2.5 years ago. Here's the kind of thing that could only happen in 2019. Benito Mussolini's granddaughter is absolutely furious with Jim Carrey because of his anti-fascist art, and they are having it out online. A Twitter feud between Alessandro Mussolini, a conservative Italian politician and member of European Parliament, and the comedic actor-turned-artist erupted after Carrey shared a sketch on Twitter of a dead Benito Mussolini hanging upside down with his mistress Claretta Petacci. The drawing was accompanied by a caption, "If you're wondering what fascism leads to, just ask Benito Mussolini and his mistress Claretta." Password is password : The pair were hung upside down in a public square in Milan after they were executed by communist partisan fighters in April 1945. In response, Alessandro Mussolini lashed out at Carrey, writing, "You are a bastard." She posted several angry responses to his tweet and suggested that he make drawings depicting America's problematic history instead. "Hi, Jim Carrey, now draw this for us. And now, Jim Carrey, draw this other. I think Jim Carrey should draw that too." Do you know the history of Rosa Parks? Fucking hell. Despite Mussolini's disapproval, oh no, Mussolini disapproved. Carrey's tweet has gotten 112,000 likes and 28,000 retweets. Of course, because more people know who Jim Carrey is than know who Mussolini's granddaughter is, but anyway. Actor famous for rubber-faced roles like Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, has turned increasingly to art over the last 8 years, but since the November 2016 election of President Trump, Carrey's paintings and sculptures have taken a backseat to his pointed political cartoons, skewering the former reality TV star's policies and admin. Carrey regularly shares these images on Twitter, including ones of Trump, White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and even figures he admires such as Christine Blasey Ford, who testified against Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh before his confirmation to the seat. In September, Carrey took these artworks offline with an exhibition at Macaron, Los Angeles, which also brought his work to the Outsider Art Fair in New York in January. That's just a fun thing to look back on. Anyway, 69 will now be called 96 due to inflation, making it so hard to eat out. Really don't understand why we wouldn't hang all the family. Oh gosh. Look up Togliatti amnesty on Wikipedia and you'll understand why all these fascists are still around in Italy. Actually, I might do that. That sounds interesting. Okay. I have 100% gotten annoyed at password creation enough to make it. This is my motherfucking password. It is a brutal execution, but fuck yeah. Probably because a lot of families wouldn't have at least one psycho in it, and condemning a whole family for what one did isn't much better than being a Nazi who would kill a family for doing something against their administration. This is one of the difficulties, right? Is that, you know, if we look at the Trumps, if we look at the Trumpet family, we can generally, this is the issue, right? We've got one good Trump. We know there's a good Trump, Mary. who has actively spoken out against Donald and all of his atrocities. But it's hard to not look at a family that is mainly known for Donald and think, has that evil seeped out into the rest of the family? You know, it's one of those tricky things. Because obviously we can tell that not everyone who is related to, say, who's a horrible person aside from Mussolini? I don't know. Yeah, he wasn't condemning the whole family. He was condemning the fascists in charge, specifically. Anyway. Like that you just call him Donald like he's some asshole down the street. I have a tendency to do that. Fucking Donald, man. I can't stand him. Oh, what Donald's dead? Donald Trump. If Hitler dies in a Tarantino movie, and if he had descendants, would they really be angry Grandpa Hitler died cartoonishly in a movie? Are there descendants of Adolf Hitler? I don't remember if there are or not. Did Hitler have kids or nibblings, nieces and nephews or whatever, or siblings or anything like that would have had kids? Yeah, there any living relatives to Adolf Hitler today? Like, I feel like if you were the person, yeah, I was gonna say if everyone named Hitler changed surname, like if there were any, if you were related to someone that you know, well, this is gonna be the tricky thing, right? Generally speaking, I would imagine everyone involved with the person that committed these gross atrocities would have changed their names and rebranded their lives. One of the last surviving Hitler relatives apparently disliked Trump. There we go. Hitler was not his surname at birth. Well, that doesn't surprise me. If I recall correctly, they intentionally didn't have kids to stop the Hitler line. That's interesting. There we go. Wilhelms are now called the Windsors, yeah. Anyway. But yeah, if you were related to someone atrocious like Mussolini, wouldn't you change your name? Apparently not. Let's have a look at this. I'm curious now. Togliatti amnesty was an amnesty declared in Italy on the 22nd of June 1946. Named after the then Italian Minister of Justice, Italian Communist Party member Palmiro Togliatti, it pardoned and reduced sentences for Italian fascists and partisans alike. The amnesty covered common crimes as well as political ones committed during World War II. Fascists and their collaborators benefited more from the amnesty than the partisans. Who would be surprised? This honestly strikes me as the tolerance paradox thing. Basically boils down to, if we try to have a perfectly tolerant society, that allows strictly intolerant viewpoints to grow in popularity and as a result lead to an intolerant society. So essentially we have to be intolerant to intolerance. There's really no way to get around it. There are certain attitudes that we realize are vile, evil attitudes, and we need to do away with those. We need to shut down certain incredibly harmful ideologies. However, the issue with that is if we start doing that, it's that slippery slope to the restriction of freedom of speech, which has even further dark consequences. Background: the Italian Civil War from the 8th of September 1943 to the 2nd of May 1945 had ended with the German surrender. During this time, the Italian resistance movement had fought German occupation forces and their fascist Italian allies, the Italian Social Republic. It has been estimated that during this period, 22,000 Italian civilians were killed through Axis war crimes in Italy, and 30,000 Italian partisans died in the fighting. Beside crimes committed by the German the German army and the Italian fascists, the Italian partisans also committed acts that were considered crimes under Italian law. In particular, the partisans massacred and imprisoned fascist supporters and captured soldiers who were held as prisoners of war. Isgramor, can I just say I love your name, by the way? I will agree with you. Freedom of speech does not and should not protect hate speech. However, the issue becomes, right? And I hate that I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I hate this because I am honestly a victim of hate speech. But the issue becomes, how do you legally define what hate speech is? See, the argument in favor of free speech is generally an all-encompassing thing. But when we discuss what is hate speech, there are a number of people who have varying degrees of opinion on what constitutes hate speech and how do you legislate that. Generally speaking, we have a common sense opinion of it. We look at the way certain people who are in privileged positions talk about those who are not in privileged positions. So, white supremacists talking about BIPOC people, for example. Other newspapers have reported that another Hitler relative was convicted of deeply gross crimes, unshockingly. So yeah, like that's the issue, is like free speech should not protect hate speech, but how do we define hate speech? And worse still is that there are several people, there's like 6 guys. There are numerous people out there who really know how to manipulate their language to circumvent what could be constituted as hate speech, which makes things difficult. Hello, Caleb. How you going? It's an interesting discussion to have, and honestly a bit terrifying, because when we look at what constitutes hate speech and how severe it can get, how bad influential speech can get, it leaves one wondering. Hello, Vamps. How you going? So, let's continue on. In June 1946, the Kingdom of Italy was abolished through an institutional referendum. To mark this event, a general amnesty was proposed, and Palmiro Togliatti was responsible for drafting the law. Togliatti was Minister of Justice from the 25th of July 1945 to the 1st of July 1946 within the government of Prime Minister Alcide de Gasperi. Alcide. Yeah, we're doing history, I guess. We're doing the history of the Togliatti amnesty as to why there are so many fascists in Italy. Basically, the amnesty granted pardon to both fascists and partisans alike, and of course the fascists gained more from this than the partisans did. Yes, honestly, Lady Snowblood and Floppable, dog whistles. Essentially, yes, like communicating ideas that are supposed to be explicitly hateful using language that doesn't come across as explicitly hateful. Take this tweet that I posted today. Alright? Yes, I'm dog whistling on Twitter. And I'm going to keep posting tweets like this, where I post some kind of selfie with the tag woman, noun, adult, human, female. To most people who are not clued in to the discussion around transphobia, the phrase woman, adult, human, female makes sense. It's logical. Yeah, a woman's just a adult, human, female. Okay, yeah, I get that. However, the under the surface message there is trying to insinuate that only those who could be biologically and scientifically categorized as an adult human female, so specific sex characteristics, right? They have a uterus, they have a womb, they have a vagina, breasts, etc. Cervix, the list goes on. What they're trying to do is deny the existence, generally speaking, this dog whistle is trying to deny the existence of trans women. And by association, it also denies the existence of transgender men, who are generally assigned female at birth individuals, and just calls them women when trans men don't want to be called women. They're not women. So that's a dog whistle, effectively. That's one. There are many more gratuitous examples, but I'm trans, so of course I'm going to bring everything back around to that topic, because I have no other personality than being a trans woman on the internet. That's who I am now. I'm one of those. Oh, I like Dark Souls. I'm a trans woman who likes Dark Souls. Yeah. It's a 2-in-1 dog whistle. Dark Souls is a trans game. Dark Souls 2 is a trans game, because there is specifically a coffin you can get into to trans your gender. Fun fact. The gender coffin. I was so confused when I did that the first time. I was playing and I'm like, what's this do? I got through the 2 big giant Cyclops guys. I get to the coffin, I jump in, I jump out, and I wasn't sure what happened, because my character was like undead. So, and like, I don't know if you've played Dark Souls, but the majority of the armor sets, they don't really dramatically change if you're male or female, right? So I got in, and I get back out again, and I'm like, what does that do? I don't know what that did. And it took me running around just playing like normal, and eventually I got hit, and I'm like, hang on. Why are my sound effects different? And I took a second, and I let it register. I let myself get hit a few more times. I'm like, I sound really different. And it's not like my character's hollow or something. It's not like he's... Well, I think I made a female character, and then I transitioned to male. And yeah, I got hit a few more times, and I was like, Hang on, I'm making male sounds. Why is my character making male sounds? I took my armor off. She wasn't wearing a top anymore. Her nipples were exposed, except they were male nipples. And that's when I figured it out. It's like, oh, it's a gender-changing coffin. I don't know why it exists or what purpose it serves. But it's neat, I guess. There's also a ring in Dark Souls 3 that allows you to equip male animations on female characters and vice versa. How did I figure... I don't know, honestly. I think I ended up looking it up. I think I ended up looking up something like Dark Souls 2 gender change bug, and somebody was like, oh, it's the coffin in Things Betwixt. It's like, oh... It's fucking hilarious. A hot trans woman on the internet who likes Dark Souls. Isn't that all of us? I like the addition in case you wanted to be a new character but not really starting all over. True. I'm pretty sure is there an option to remake your character's appearance in Dark Souls 2? I know there's an option to reset your character's stats, I think. I can't recall. I think there's a respec option in Dark Souls 2. There's a respec option in Dark Souls 3 as well. And that one's a little bit harder to do. I think in Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 2, respecing becomes really easy late game. Thank you for the hugs. I appreciate it, folks. There is in Demon Souls 2020. You can review the character creator at any time. That's awesome. So yeah, DS2 has respecs. DS3 has respecs, but they're a bit harder. You need to get a PvP item drop to respec, which is stupid. Can I just say that's stupid? Or you can replay through the game numerous times to get that item. Welcome back, by the way. Head pats. I'll take some head pats. Ooh. What is the legit purpose of resetting a character's stats? Well, generally speaking, like, technically you can level up every stat in Dark Souls to 99. So you can max your character out, but as you do, it becomes exponentially more expensive to level up. So there is a broadly agreed upon level cap in the Dark Souls community of about 120 in Dark Souls 1 and 3 and 150-ish in Dark Souls 2. And Bloodborne, I think it's about 80 in Bloodborne. But just generally speaking, most people in the PvP scene generally tend to hover around that level range because it allows you to try out new character builds. Yeah, it allows you to just change your stats. So like, there might be a sword that has a 60 strength requirement, but you've put all your stats into like int and dex or something. And you're like, I want to try this sword out. I want to try swinging around a big heavy sword. I don't want to make a new character and start from scratch. So you go and do the respec option and change that around. Maybe you put too many points into a stat that is functionally useless, like luck or resistance, and you want to get rid of those. Well, you can't get rid of points in resistance in Dark Souls 1. Kinda sucks. Resistance is useless. Do not level up resistance. It sucks. It's a non-stat. No one should ever level resistance, ever. Oh, in case it was missed, thank you so much, Romeo. And let's talk about the Facebook thing. Alright, Facebook whistleblower Francis Horgan, the 60 Minutes interview. This is only about 15 minutes. Love you, but must go. Radio Lady Snowblood, love you too. Have a good one. Thank you so kindly for hanging out. Zero, I am now a hot trans woman on the internet who likes Dark Souls as well. Just pay 4 installments of $79.99. Only 4? Random luck build, and it was fucking amazing and dumb. I like bleed builds. I want to do a bleed build. Anyway, before we go on, let's have a look at this. Let's just continue looking at this, and then we will look at the whistleblower thing and the Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp restored after hours-long blockout. But I just want to finish reading this. Oh, what's this? And most people need to understand what's coming. What's this? Oh, good lord. That's terrifying. That's fucking terrifying. Holy shit. I just saw that I had this tab open. That's scary. Hi, that's scary. Hi. Yeah, for protesters, most definitely. Riot control. Jesus cunting Christ. Are we scared yet? Are we having fun yet? Good lord. It's like something out of RoboCop. We'll keep watching. Oh, I don't want that. Is that what you call a people bulldozer? The video is multiple years old, but not reassuring. Yeah, I mean, are we really going to be surprised if they start deploying these things? At the very least, someone had the idea of developing it. Someone had the idea of building a prototype. You know, someone signed off on this. Someone put the money into this. And it was probably some government body or some corporate body that was like, yeah, this is a thing that our law enforcement officers need. That should scare you. More shit for cops to violently assault the community with. Yes, exactly. It's TARDIS Blue. Luckily, the contract was never picked up yet. I did hear about the Dave Chappelle special, Natalie, which kind of disappoints me because I actually didn't mind Sticks and Stones too bad, but I also did hear the story, somebody linked this in the newsroom, about how, and we can go over this, we can cover this story if you want to. There was an article covering how he is very much on the side of J.K. Rowling, which is not reassuring at all. Anyway, just go away with your BAD-free shit. Get lost. Time for the rise of right-wing militias. Oh, I know, right? Anyway, let's continue down this. Where are we? So let's read this article and then let's react to this 60 Minutes interview. And here's another flex for you. I'm putting my sleeves down. Oh, my arms are not as big as they used to be. Yeah, he literally said he's Team Turf. Here we go. Let's get some shoulders in. There we go. I don't look huge anymore. I don't know how to feel about this. Anyway, the West needs its own Tiananmen to win the Cold War. What the fuck? Jesus Christ! Oh my god. Radical feminist Dave Chappelle. It's never about feminism, but anyway. It's never been about feminism. Turfism has never been about feminism. It's always been about misogyny. Anyway, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp restored after hours-long blockout. You might have heard about this the other day. Facebook was down. I don't really use Facebook for more than streamer Facebook groups anymore, so I didn't really notice. I only noticed when I went on Instagram and like, oh yeah, nothing's loading because everything's down. Didn't really inconvenience me, honestly. And WhatsApp is an interesting part of this discussion. We'll get back to that in a moment. It might be covered in this article, actually. Facebook, Instagram, and the widely used WhatsApp messaging service are gradually returning to normal after an hours-long global outage that disabled the Facebook-owned social media platforms for some 6 hours. In a post on rival platform Twitter on Monday evening, Facebook confirmed its apps were coming back online and apologized to users for a blackout that affected millions of people across the world. To the huge community of people and businesses around the world who depend on us, we're sorry, Facebook said. We've been working hard to restore access to our apps and services and are happy to report they are coming back online now. Now let's clarify something here. It's quite disastrous that something like Facebook, which is genuinely used for a number of businesses to conduct their business these days, like a significant number of businesses use Facebook specifically to like make bookings or communicate with their customers or any number of things. So for Facebook to go down like this and for those businesses to not have another avenue says to me that maybe Facebook being in such a powerful position is not such a good idea. Anyway, maybe this sort of shit should be, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Like made public. I mean, like we can shit on Facebook all the live long day, but the reality of the situation is it is very widely used for a number of purposes, and it going down is pretty disastrous for a number of reasons. Going to head out, little tired. Sounds good, Kicker. Thank you so kindly for hanging out tonight. I appreciate you. You're at the gym and stuff? Well, that makes sense. Almost like the world relying on one or two services is really, really bad. It is. It is. Like if Cloudflare fucks up or AWS, yes, exactly. It's a worrying thing that the majority of the services we use online, the majority of the entertainment we consume, and all of these kind of things are limited to a few very specific, very big billion-dollar companies. Anyway, outage tracking website downdetector.com said it had received 10.6 million reports of problems ranging from the US to Europe to Colombia to Singapore, with trouble first appearing about 15:45 Greenwich Mean Time. Service were not restored until several hours later in what Down Detector described as the largest outage we've ever seen. On Tuesday morning, WhatsApp head William Cathcart also took to Twitter to announce that the service was back up and running, but did not elaborate on what might have caused problems. Now, what's interesting about WhatsApp is it tends to be used in a lot of countries where generally, like, basically WhatsApp has become a utility in certain countries around the world, like for messaging and for calling, in such a way that, like, there are numerous countries where what we take for granted is like phone plans and prepaid plans on our phones and all that sort of stuff, text messaging and phone calls and all that stuff is not really commonplace in those countries, and WhatsApp has become common usage to replace that, essentially. So, you know, millions of people, possibly billions of people, were locked out of their communication service. Anyway, but did not elaborate on what might have caused the problems. We know that people were unable to use WhatsApp to connect with their friends, family, businesses, community groups, and more today. A humbling reminder of how much people and organizations rely on our app every day, which means this shit needs to be broken up. Holy shit. Cathcart wrote in one tweet. Facebook later blamed faulty configuration changes on its routers as the root cause of the outage. Our engineering teams have learned that configuration changes on the backbone routers that can coordinate network traffic between our data centers caused issues that interrupted this communication. Al Jazeera's Alan Fisher, reporting from Washington, D.C., said the outage was I keep reading as outrage. The outage was much longer than a 2019 shutdown of Facebook-owned apps that lasted for about an hour, and which WhatsApp said at that time was caused by technical problems. This is obviously very concerning, Fisher added about Monday's problem. This is concerning. The fact that the font just dramatically changes by like 2 points for one line, and it's not a subheader or anything. It's not bold, it's just slightly larger text, and that looks off-putting. Anyway, just looks like it's badly formatted. The error message appearing on Facebook.com throughout the day read, "Sorry, something went wrong. We're working on it and we'll get it fixed as soon as we can." The message suggested a DNS error, Reuters reported. DNS allows web addresses to take users to their destinations. A similar outage at cloud company Akamai Technologies took down multiple websites in July. Down Detector, which only tracks outages by collating status reports from a series of sources, including user-submitted errors on its platform, showed there were more than 50,000 incidents of people reporting issues with Facebook and Instagram. I would, honestly, Smelly Cat, I would recommend changing your passwords. Yeah, generally speaking, it's a good idea to cycle them regularly anyway. But yeah, change your password, stay safe out there. Enable two-factor authentication if you haven't already, just to protect your account, yeah. I don't know what it means for viewers necessarily, but just as a security measure in general. I don't know if we know if the passwords were properly salted, but it's worth doing anyway. It's worth doing anyway. In any sort of circumstance like this, it's worth doing. Just to protect yourself. Because like I mentioned earlier, if you have any other socials attached to Twitch, like I've got my Twitter, my Instagram, my Facebook, my Discord server and all that, it's worth changing those passwords too, or at least it's worth changing your password on the Twitch end of things, because you might have other information linked to your Twitch account that might be volatile, that might result in unfortunate circumstances. So we don't want that, you know. Where were we? Ian Scher, editor-at-large at CNET, told Al Jazeera earlier that judging by early reporting and error messages users received on Monday, it was most likely that something had been configured incorrectly. My bet is that someone pushed a button wrong or a cord got unplugged. Which seems very minor, but the reality is we've seen these things before where suddenly something is configured incorrectly and entire swaths of the internet are not available. The outage came with Facebook under mounting pressure in the US after a leaked internal investigation showed the social media giant was aware of how its Instagram app harmed the mental health of teenagers, which we're going to discuss a little bit later on in more detail. In a series of articles, the Wall Street Journal newspaper reported that Facebook knew its Instagram platform caused some teenagers, particularly girls, to feel bad about their self-image. The company has rejected the reports as a distortion of the investigation's findings. We care deeply about the safety and security of the people on our platform, Facebook's head of global security, Antagon Davis, said during a Senate subcommittee hearing last week. We have put in place multiple protections to create safe and age-appropriate experiences for people between the ages of 13 and 17. On Tuesday, former Facebook employee Frances Haugen will testify at another hearing of the Senate Commerce Subcommittee about Facebook and Instagram's impacts on young users. And we've got the Facebook whistleblower interview here that we're going to look at. Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal, chair of the subcommittee, said the testimony is critical to understanding what Facebook knew about its platform's toxic effects on young users, when they knew it, and what they did about it. Last week, Instagram announced it was pausing plans to launch a platform for children! They're gonna add an Instagram Kids. Okie dokie, that's not a terrible idea or anything. Saying the move aimed to give the company time to work with parents, experts, policymaker service. Why? What the fuck? Okay, and regulators. I guess that's a company? Policymaker service! To listen to their concerns and to demonstrate the value and importance of this project for younger teens online today. Can we not do Instagram kids, thanks? I don't think that's a good idea. No. Stop. No, please. Enough. Can we? That's a yikes. Can we not? No more kids on the internet. Alright. Pausing plans to launch? Yep. You just. How about you pause indefinitely? And we don't do it. We pause indefinitely and we put the plans in the bin where they belong. Yeah, we learned nothing from the disaster that is YouTube Kids. The worst issue is that being that the world is currently in a really uncertain state, with regards to like the pandemic, lockdowns, kids not being able to go to school, kids have got a lot more time at home with their parents, and in an ideal world, those parents would be spending time with their kids and monitoring their activity. But broadly speaking, we know that most parents are going to sit their kids on a tablet or a phone or computer, PlayStation, whatever, and just let them do whatever while they do whatever they're doing. Which means there's going to be a lot of parents out there who are not monitoring what their kids' online activity is, and that's just going to lead to disastrous results. You need to pee. That's probably... You need to pee. Fuck. Hopefully separate from each other. Look, I'm not going to kink shame if anyone's into that. You do you, boo-boo. Anyway. Let's pause this track for a second and let's have a look at this interview.
To engage with angry content?
There's more content on Overtime Original. Okay, there we go. Oh, that's the wrong button. Yeah, there we go. So there's a bit of information on that. You can mull that over while I go take a leak, because I really desperately needed to pee through that entire segment. Now Jasmine's rating me with 9 viewers. Hooray, I really need to pee. Hi, Jasmine and friends. How's it going? I'll pee in a minute. Let me just put my lights on. We have been talking about Twitch being leaked and Facebook and Instagram. We're going to come back to the Instagram stuff in a moment. After I take a very, very brief pee break. But first I'll welcome everybody in with some pretty colourful lights. Look, see? I've got production value. Look. See, I'm a good streamer. Bam! Colourful lights. How you doing, Jasmine? What'd you get up to tonight? How was your stream? What were you getting up to? Has anyone got a... I have a shout-out command. Go to the Wiz Palace. I did a Stardew. Heck yes. I love Stardew. I want to get back into Stardew. I haven't played it in ages. It's such a cozy game. Holy crap. How's your Stardew run going? What are you up to in Stardew? How many years in are you? That's an interesting thought. I never actually ended up 100%ing Stardew Valley. I really should get back around to it. I've been trying to correct your sleep schedule ever since daylight savings. Ugh, fuck daylight savings. Why does Australia jump from 3 time zones to 5? What the hell is that about? Arguably 6. What the hell? Daylight savings is dumb. No wonder FB products are so huge across the developing world. Exactly. Oh, you have a new farm, so you're back on year 1. Yeah, we go from having basically a Western time zone, a Middle time zone, and an Eastern time zone. And then during daylight savings, we have Western Australia in one time zone, the Northern Territory in one time zone, South Australia in one time zone, Queensland, is that right? Queensland, and then New South Wales, Victoria, and Tasmania in their own time zone. It's stupid. Anyway, so do people speedrun Stardew? Definitely, yeah. I'd look into it. You're going to go rightio, Jasmine. Thank you so kindly for bringing all your lovely people across here. I am going to take a quick break. I'm going to go pee. She says you don't observe DST. We do. Maybe not in her state, because Western Australia, Northern Territory don't change. We'll talk about the time zone thing in a second. I'll be back. Entertain yourselves for a minute, kids. Hello, I have returned. Give me a sec. Alright, we're back. What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the Rogue Room. I'm going to record a thing after stream, which will be one of those little segments where it's like, if you're enjoying the content, subscribe on Twitch, Coffee, Patreon, whatever. I've been meaning to do that for a little bit now, and I figure I might as well do it. I have a pretty reasonably normal appearance, good for advertising. So anyway, anywho, so yeah, we're back. Still arguably discussing the whole Facebook thing. So let me come back through chat for a second. Hello, Ploods. How's it going? Welcome back. Thank you kindly. Let me have a look here. So the further from the equator, the more daylight shifts with the seasons. There we go. That's a bit of an answer for daylight savings. What's my opinion apart from Facebook reducing their protective measures knowingly? How much is their responsibility and how much is the mental health responsibility of the individuals and their families? In particular, I want to mention that Facebook's influence is so widespread that they have an institutional responsibility to cover these kinds of things. Like, we can't keep... It comes back around... You know what it is? It's the climate change thing. Again. We keep getting these ideas thrust in our face that we should be making individual choices to stem the tide of climate change, when the reality of the situation is climate change is an issue that can only be tackled by those who have the most power and the most wealth. And this is a very similar kind of circumstance. If people's mental health on a wide scale, on a social scale, is being influenced by social media in such a way that it's having increasingly negative effects, then it is the responsibility of companies like Facebook to stem the tide of that. Like, they have to actively stamp that out. And the problem is, as long as they're profiting from keeping people on the platform, they're not going to take the steps necessary to increase global mental health and things of that nature. FB and their products are essential to most of the web for most people. Way too big for the global good, essentially, yes. The Rohingya genocide and the anti-Rohingya sentiments were primarily spread through Facebook and very successfully. Excuse me. Yeah, it's a definite example of them needing to monitor and filter properly. And, it's the same with many other awful things. Like, the anti-vax sentiment at the moment is primarily spread through platforms like Facebook. Corporations get to externalize the costs of their own profit making because we let them. We have to stop dancing around and start making every corporation pay every last cent of the damage they do. If they go out of business, too fucking bad. I guess they didn't have a sound business model. This is the problem, though. This comes back around to the exact same thing. Facebook's free. And those other big companies, like, a lot of the time, the vast majority of people are not willing to put in the effort to look at alternatives to the things they use. You can try as much as you can, but generally speaking, the vast majority of the average population they're not going to change what they're doing. They're not going to change what they're used to. This is why it is such a hard thing to... This is why it's such a hard thing to motivate people away from, let's just say, like the eating meat thing or using Facebook or whatever. I'm making an argument against eating meat when my lunch today was spaghetti bolognese. Shut up! Look. Feels like the Met Police argument. Their defense is just a few bad officers when they refuse to admit it's an institutional problem. Basically, yes. Just add nuggies, hell yes. The day Twitch put a +1 button to agree with another comment will be a day too late. Oh. Yeah. I don't see why they would, though. +1. There's also the fact that FB has done research and is withholding information, hence why this is being whistleblown, exactly. The luckiest of work lurks. I hope you're doing well, Goat. How are things? I shouldn't ask because you're working. But, we are well aware of the fact that don't start doing this +1, +2 shit. I will get mad. I swear to God. Like, we look at, what do we look at? What are we looking at? What are we looking at? We're looking at the negative effects. We're seeing it as it unfolds right now. Do I prefer donos or subs? Tips? Coffee? Well, I would prefer, generally speaking, Streamlabs has got like that monthly tip option now. For anyone who's curious, if you're on stream, if you folks tip through Streamlabs, there is now an option where you can basically sub to your favorite streamer through Streamlabs, and like it's, if you pay what, $7.99 Australian dollars to subscribe, right? At tier 1. You can now do that on Streamlabs, and the streamer gets 100% of it. Oh, by the way, yeah, thank you for the shout out for Babbling Goat there. Can we get one for Plotsky as well? Sims, I love watching. I should tune into more of your streams, Goat, honestly. I love watching you building. I love watching house building in The Sims. I really should get back into it. It's so nice. It's cozy. No. Thoughts on the lockdowns? Well, they're not really lockdowns, is the thing. They're restrictions. You get it anyway. You get a shout out anyway. They're mainly restrictions that people need to be adjusting to in order to get out of the mess we're in with COVID cases and people filling up hospital beds. Like, in order to get out of the restriction phase we're in now, which we are gradually moving towards coming out of the restriction phase on the 11th, thankfully, at least here in New South Wales. I don't know about other states and what they're going through, but just, broadly speaking, if people actually paid attention and stopped going to these nonsense protests, which are just spreading and amplifying the case numbers, we would be out of this mess a lot earlier than we should. Like, we should be out of this mess months ago. We should be out of this. We were out of lockdown. We were out of restrictive measures months ago, but people were being stupid again. People weren't paying attention. Have I heard the Conservative Party UK is trying to tear up Human Rights Act? I'm not shocked, but I haven't heard it specifically. Hope you do those end of the videos takes, but with multiple versions with different clothes and expressions. Which one will you get? If you keep watching, find out. I've been Facebook free since 2018. That's fair. That's good. I like I mentioned before, the only reason I use it is to go on streamer Facebook groups nowadays. I don't actually go on Facebook proper. There's nothing on there for me. I don't enjoy being on Facebook. Kind of new on Twitch and stumbled on your channel. There is a proper protester stream on at the moment. Yeah. Do you mean like they're streaming from the protests? Too many Australians are forgetting that they aren't American Republicans like they wish they were. Shall we look at... I mean, we could look at, like... Hang on. I mainly use... I do use Messenger to communicate with some friends. Okay. We did talk about the Save Australia protests in New York, which is stupid. Crowds of anti-vaccine protesters chant Save Australia. Yeah, that's SBS. We looked at that yesterday. Melbourne protest and the disinformation wars in Australia. This looks like an opinion article. I don't know what the Diplomat is. Never heard of it, but anyway. We did cover the Melbourne protest recently. Gotta go, Radio Skylar. Have a good one. Can also blame... I can't stop fidgeting with my choker. I'm sorry. Like, if you see me doing this, I'm just like fidgeting with it. I just like playing with it. It says doomed, by the way. You can't tell in this lighting, but my choker says doomed. It's fucking sick. I love it. At this point, if a new friend doesn't use Discord and only uses Facebook, looks like they aren't ever going to be contacted again. Yeah. Still have Americans commenting on Melbourne. We did have a bit of a brief chat about this earlier. It's kind of hilarious. Okay, thank you for sending me this, Phoebe. We'll take a look at this in a moment, because we do have a couple of other stories I want to go over. Did we look at the China thing? We did look at the China thing yesterday, yeah. What does Mood say backwards? Doom. My interaction with Facebook was kind of off and on. I only made an account ages ago because a Final Fantasy game was on there, and then I got bored with it and stopped. Then I got a girlfriend who preferred talking via messages, so I went back. Then we broke up and stopped using it again. That's fair. The most you used it for in years was to congratulate your cousin for coming out as trans. There you go. All news is opinion articles. No, there are some good bits here and there where it's just the facts, generally speaking. But one of the major things is to look at the slant of the publications that you're reading. There are some generally... I wouldn't say unbiased articles, but there are some that just sort of present the facts as they are, or the information as we know it, without too much in the way of what the word the word I'm looking for, editorializing, sensationalizing. Oh, you didn't leave your hat on the train? No. Oh shit. Fuck. We'll get you another one, Zero. Ziwa. I should call you Ziwa, because everyone else calls you Ziwa. We'll get you another one. There also exists news that is impartial to politics, too. Yeah, like, I've seen news articles that are just here is what transpired around these events, and no editorializing, no sensationalizing, no propagandizing. There we go. We're just doing a thesaurus stream now. Suggestion for next time: anyone has relatives they enjoy coming over. My family's having a movie night in a day or so to unwind. Maybe you should get snacks, healthy or not, I don't care. Mutually desired films. Enjoy your time together without focusing on tension points. I am honestly going to spend a significant amount of time this month watching body horror related movies. Like quite specifically, I want to rewatch The Thing. I want to watch some Cronenberg. I don't want to watch zombie shit. Don't recommend me zombie movies because I will throw you off a bridge. A very shallow one, like a bridge over a creek. So you might get a bruise or something. But don't recommend me zombie movies ever. They're shit. The zombie genre fucking sucks. But I am going to be watching some body horror. Annihilation is good. I don't know if there's like a few body horror sequences in it, but it's not really a body horror movie. Altered States being one. I'll check that out. Because I've already sort of revealed this on Twitter. My next video is about body horror and gender dysphoria. I recommend not The Walking Dead Season 2. Holy crap, that was a boring season of that show. Jesus Christ. More of a general yeah. I think it was from Kmart. Cheap hat from Kmart, okay. That's easy. A lot of drug taking and de-evolving. Only zombie movie you like is Night of the Living Dead original and 90s remake. Train to Busan. Oh, I might check that one out because I've heard Train to Busan is actually quite good. If there's a murder in a house, it's going to be pretty unpolarized towards murder or bad in most situations. Well, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm looking at body horror for my next video topic because it's Halloween. You know, we're coming up to Halloween. I got to get to work on writing this damn script. But yeah, I'm mainly focusing on stuff that I think I want to focus on. Let me think. I'm trying to think. Got a body horror for me. Oh, the original Hellraiser would actually be quite good. I haven't watched Hellraiser in a while. Color Out of Space, I'll give that a look. I'll make a list. I'll try to get through these. I'm probably only going to watch a few of them, but there's also some games I want to bring up in the video. Dead Space, Bloodborne, The Blob. I can't wait to rewatch The Thing because it's one of my favorites. Event Horizon's a good one. Yes, exactly. The first season was so good and they changed the director to a Fast and Furious director and the show fell apart. Did it ever get better? I don't know. I kept watching for a bit mainly because my then social circle was watching it. I really didn't pay much attention. Watch the B-movie Shrooms. Yeah, Community are all horror nuts. Yeah, get them if it's specifically body horror stuff where the body is being twisted and mutilated in uncomfortable, contorting ways. Things that make you look. Anyone else getting Error 2000? I heard that before. You can't see me, so you know. There was actually a video game of The Thing, yeah. Hellraiser. I'll add Hellraiser to the list. At any rate, I'm going to be going through these, trying to watch at least a few of them. But specifically, I do want to talk about the concept of body horror and the reason that we have such a visceral response to it, generally speaking, the way it's so effective in the horror genre, and also talk about gender dysphoria and the relation to that sensation of disgust and horror at one's body that some trans people might have. It's going to be a rather dark video, I think. Getting 2000s too. Had to switch to phone. Yeah, it's weird. The Fly. I might look at The Fly. Can vouch for Color Out of Space being supremely uncomfy. Love slashes and the stakes in them, plus how the final girl trope has evolved and they tend to have a ton of female characters. I don't mind slashes, generally speaking, but they tend to be a little bit over the top. Human Centipede is an interesting choice. I might consider it. This is all for research, mind you. So, you know. In particular, I'd like to look at movies that maybe discuss the idea of horror at one's body. But I don't know what specifically there could be. Or distrust in one's body. You know. Maybe it's in the UK. Don't know. Yes, it is research. It is research. Saw might be a good one, the first movie, not the rest of them. I know Saw's got some gory kills, but like the first one might be the best actual option. Because I've had Saw spoiled for me, and I know it does result in someone being forced to amputate a limb. Spoilers for the first Saw movie. Reanimator. I've heard of Reanimator. That's a good one. You know. Jennifer's Body, I watched it. I wasn't a fan of it, but maybe. Might be into it. Jacob's Ladder is dealing with a drug fucking with Vietnam vets. That could work. Traumatic research, yes. I'm trying to put myself through hell for the purposes of making this video. Is this intended to be live action only? Not necessarily. I was going to watch Akira, actually, which also has some body horror elements to it. Ghost in the Shell might be one I would check out, even just like in a non what's the phrase? A non specific horror context. Gonna suggest Akira. Akira seems good. I've seen bits and pieces. Managed to use multi-stream to watch the stream. Apparently UK people can't watch Twitch because ads are failing to load. Of course! How convenient. Daniel Isn't Real is an interesting take on body horror. Let's have a look at that one. This is cool. These are some ideas. The idea of the video, the basic synopsis, is detachment from the body. Is this idea of like seeing yourself in the mirror and being dreadfully horrified by what you're seeing in the same way that you would watch a movie with body horror elements and you'll see someone who's been, like, if you've seen The Thing, you see the creature in The Thing in the way that it's twisted human and animal bodies into some unfathomable monstrosity. And it's going to be, honestly, probably a video largely focusing on mental health issues relating to body image. Altered States. Okay. Paprika. Paints the horror in a whimsical manner. The problem is going to be finding the time to watch these. Goodness. Hate your meat, get cyber mods today. That could be a thing. Anyway, let's get back to the news. Let's get back to talking about stuff. Because on the subject, let's talk about this thing, which we've already sort of covered in the earlier article and the interview with 60 Minutes, but Instagram promoted pages glorifying eating disorders to teen accounts. This was published on October 4th, so we're a bit behind on the news, but this is something I did want to talk about. Oh, I do want to mention RoboCop. Actually, I was going to mention the original RoboCop series, but the living parts he has left. That scene is fucking horrifying. That is genuinely a horrifying scene. It's really well done, but it's holy shit. You know, it didn't go into full detail. Anyway, I have to be thin, eternally starved. I want to be perfect. These are the names of accounts Instagram's algorithms promoted to an account registered as belonging to a 13-year-old girl who expressed interest in weight loss and dieting. Proof that Instagram is not only failing to crack down on accounts promoting extreme dieting and eating disorders, but actively promotes those accounts comes as Instagram and its parent company Facebook are facing intense scrutiny over the impact they have on young people's mental health. Instagram acknowledged to CNN this weekend that those accounts broke its rules against the promotion of extreme dieting and they shouldn't have been allowed on the platform. The extreme dieting accounts were promoted to an Instagram account set up by Senator Richard Blumenthal's staff. The Connecticut Senator's team registered an account as a 13-year-old girl and proceeded to follow some dieting and pro-eating disorder accounts, the latter of which are supposed to be banned by Instagram. Soon, Instagram's algorithm began almost exclusively recommending the young teenage account should follow more and more extreme dieting accounts, the senator told CNN. What's the execution? What do you mean, what's the execution? Blumenthal's office shared with CNN a list of accounts Instagram's algorithm had recommended. After CNN sent a sample from this list of 5 accounts to Instagram for comment, the company removed them, saying all of them broke its policies against encouraging eating disorders. We do not allow content that promotes or encourages eating disorders, and we remove the accounts shared with us for breaking these rules, a spokesperson for Facebook, Instagram's parent company, told CNN. We use technology and reports from our community to find and remove this content as quickly as we can, and we're always working to improve. We'll continue to follow expert advice from academics and mental health organizations like the National Eating Disorder Association to strike the difficult balance between allowing people to share their mental health experiences while protecting them from potentially harmful content. Non-subbed accounts are not loading in the US as well. What the fuck? Well, there was the whole Twitch being leaked thing that happened. I don't know if that would have an effect, but... Speaking to CNN Monday, Blumenthal said this experience shows very graphically how Facebook's claims to protect children or take down accounts that may be dangerous to them are absolute hogwash. No. I haven't seen that version of the scene though. The Murphy be taken apart by a shotgun. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. No, in the remake of RoboCop, they take away his armor for one scene, and he's revealed to just be basically, I think, lungs in a tank and a brain, and that's pretty much it. And it's all really really grim. Like, they take away the RoboCop armor and he gets to see himself in a mirror, and that's a moment. I think I might reference that in the video specifically, because that's a real that scene, even though it's just like you're just seeing what looks like a regular pair of lungs in a tank basically, and you like, and the brain, of course, like, you get a glimpse of it, and like a spine and a face. Well, yeah, he's got a face and a spine and right hand, because they want to make sure that when he shakes hands with someone, they shake. Yeah, exactly. So he's the majority of him is gone, right? Replaced with machine. And honestly, what is so horrifying about that sequence is not, oh, gross organs, but this was a human being reduced to the bare minimum, or they've had so much of their humanity stripped away, they've had so much of their flesh shell taken away from them. You know, that's where that moment clicks in your head, is like, holy fucking shit. You know, it's it's great. Honestly, it's great. Terrifying, but great. Anyway, may come as a surprise to regular users of Instagram who are familiar with how the platform's algorithm recommends accounts that it has determined a user might be interested in. It follows reporting by the Wall Street Journal based on internal Facebook documents that show the company is aware of how toxic effects its platforms, especially Instagram, can have on young people. Much of that reporting and Facebook's ensuing commentary is centered on the negative impacts of social comparison to celebrities and popular figures on the app, a problem Facebook said is society-wide and not exclusive to its apps. According to the Wall Street Journal reporting, however, Facebook researchers acknowledge that social comparison is worse on Instagram than some other platforms because it focuses on the entire body and a person's lifestyle. Blumenthal's experiment goes a layer deeper, showing how quickly Instagram's algorithm promotes harmful content to young users. CNN set up an account last week using the same methodology as the Senator's office, also following some extreme dieting and pro-eating disorder accounts. On Sunday, Instagram promoted accounts with names like Sweet Skinny, Prettily Skinny, and Wannabe Skinny to the experiment CNN account that was also registered as belonging to a 13-year-old girl. CNN has reached out to Instagram to ask if these accounts violate its policies. So, let's see. Followed some extreme dieting and okay. Interesting method. I don't know. I'm just like, this is good to talk about, but like, just given the fact that they are creating a content that's following extreme dieting and pro-eating disorder accounts, I feel like unless they have testimonies from actual 13-year-old girls, yeah, the problem with the algorithms is that they're echo chambers. Like, this is what's weird, is like they're creating fake 13-year-old girls on Instagram and trying to use that as evidence that this is being targeted to 13-year-old girls broadly. Which, I don't know if, like, maybe later in the article they cover there's more to this, but that alone kind of doesn't prove anything. Anyway, CNN has reached out to Instagram to ask if these accounts also violate its policies, which they probably do. The danger of eating disorder content on Instagram. Viewing content from these extreme dieting accounts, which included, for example, images of extreme bodies and information about a user's current weight versus their goal weight, can act as validation for users already predisposed to unhealthy behaviors, experts say. It's called confirmation bias, where people tend to seek information that confirms what they already believe is true. Well, we're already well aware of this. Said Pamela Keel, a psychology professor at Florida State University, who has studied how using Instagram can contribute to eating disorders. While confirmation bias is often discussed in the context of other issues on social media, such as vaccine misinformation, it could also affect somebody who's already thinking that they need to be thin or thinner and is looking for other people to agree with them that that's an important thing, she said. We set up a test with the intention of getting a specific result, and hey, look, we got that specific result. Pretty much. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, this proves nothing. I mean, yeah, the content's harmful. We know that, but you're looking for it. Like, of course you gotta find it. The degree to which Give Me More like this can push people to gradually more concentrated radicalization content is definitely real, though. Well, yes, exactly. It reads like another case of boomer doesn't understand technology. It may well be. Also, the mechanism behind a lot of anti-vaxxers, flat earthers, and so on. Usually, skinny inspo accounts are also run by minors, right? I wouldn't have the specific information on that, honestly. What happened now that Twitch got leaked? Honestly, there's not really much we can say. I don't have anything specific to tell you about, other than we have some information that suggests estimates of streamer income, maybe, and it's generally a security risk. So I would suggest changing your password and enabling two-factor authentication. But other than that, it's hard to say what else, like what implications this might have. We're probably not going to know any specifics until a bit later on, maybe tomorrow or the next day. Twitch might make a statement. But, you know, I am... Also, stream keys were leaked. I think I might have reloaded my stream key. But I've at least reset my password. There's even more. There's even more, apparently, is there? All Twitch data has apparently been leaked, including encrypted passwords and payout information. Yeah, it's pretty big. So change your passwords, enable two-factor authentication, and I think I reset my my stream key already. Pretty sure. Anyway. I'm not sure I've seen reliable sources saying there's passwords. Yeah, this is the thing. Is like I haven't really... Nothing I have seen actually specifies passwords, but generally speaking... Yeah, Twitter users have downloaded the data, have also claimed that it includes encrypted user passwords, and though we can't verify this for certain, it's just generally worth changing your password and adding two-factor authentication if you haven't done so already. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue. We are constantly looking... Yeah, we already read this bit. The Wall Street Journal reported last month that researchers at Facebook who have studied its effects on young users over the past 3 years found that Instagram can damage young users' mental health and body image, especially among teen girls. One internal document cited by the newspaper said that for teen girls who had recently experienced body image issues, the app exacerbated those feelings for 1 in 3 of them. Now, I have been on certain... I've seen messages on certain social media specifically relating to... unhealthy body image and unhealthy dieting and all that kind of stuff. I'm fairly sure I've seen messages on Instagram and Facebook warning about that kind of content. I might be wrong, but I feel like I've seen it. I don't know. Is it possible that those warnings have been removed? I don't know. In a Senate hearing last week, Facebook's global head of safety, Antigone Davis, criticized the journal's reporting, calling the Facebook documents it cited not bombshell research. She added that the company has found that more teen girls actually find Instagram helpful. Frances Haugen, the former Facebook employee who leaked the documents to the journal and lawmakers, is set to testify to the same Senate committee on Tuesday. Instagram has also pushed back on claims about its role in perpetuating harmful behaviors by saying that social comparison is a widespread issue and that potentially problematic images are available elsewhere. Yeah, but Instagram is one of the most prominent social media on the planet. This is the individual responsibility thing again. You know, take care of it yourself. Indeed, pro-anorexia online communities have been around for years, predating the rise of Instagram. However, Instagram's broad reach among young women and girls mean that such content posted to its platform can be especially dangerous, according to Keel. The dominance of Instagram among the age group that was already at greatest risk of eating disorders is one issue, Keel said. You've got a vicious cycle. You've got a group who are at elevated risk of these problems, demonstrating to this artificial intelligence that this is what grabs their attention, and then that artificial intelligence says, here, let me give you more of this. It's just a perfect storm. Classic excuse, it's society, not us, pretty much. Chelsea Cronengold, communications lead for the National Eating Disorders Association, added that while Instagram and other social media sites may not cause eating disorders and other body image issues, we know it's definitely a strong risk factor in these situations. Following the journal's reporting last month, Instagram detailed several new features it plans to implement to address mental health concerns, some of which were developed in partnership with NEDA, that is the National Eating Disorders Association, for anyone who missed that, including nudges that could encourage users to change up their viewing habits if they've recently looked at potentially problematic content. The company has said it wants to prevent potentially triggering content while still allowing users in recovery from eating disorders to discuss their experiences, a potentially difficult balance to strike, experts say. Now, this comes back to what was mentioned in the 60 Minutes interview with the Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen, whatever, where there's what was that? Instagram detailed several new features it plans to implement to address mental health concerns, including nudges. This comes back around to the fact that in the article, Haugen mentions that effectively Facebook and by association Instagram are trying as much as they possibly can to avoid promoting more positive and wholesome content, basically stuff that would give people, a pleasant time on the platform. They want to promote content that is effectively harmful and toxic to its user base, because that tends to keep people hooked on the platform. Anyway, there's no long-term benefit to killing members of your largest user base, because eating disorders are incredibly dangerous. There's no way that's what Instagram wants, Keel said. My one request would be just to be more transparent. You're tracking this, you're trying to do things to minimize the risk of your site, and just be more transparent about what you're trying to do. And there's a little thing here. If you know someone who has an eating disorder, NIDA in the US has phone, text, and chat services available on its website, and Beat in the UK has phone and chat services available on its website. We have covered the Twitch thing. Yeah, we have. We can still talk about it, though. We can still continue talking about the fact that Twitch got leaked. The entire website got leaked. Someone punctured a hole in the side of Twitch, and it's leaking everywhere. So yeah, basically what it boils down to with Twitch is like all the data got out. Change your passwords. Hello, Fox. How you doing? What happened? What didn't happen? There's been a lot going on. To be honest, you'll have to be more specific. So a lot of Twitch data got leaked, including allegedly encrypted passwords. Or supposedly, we don't know how severe. Yeah, allegedly encrypted passwords, payout details. What else is listed here in this thing? So the entirety of Twitch TV, including comment history, including details going back to the beginning of the platform, essentially. Mobile and desktop and video game console Twitch clients, various proprietary SDKs and internal AWS services used by Twitch, additional properties owned by Twitch including IGDB and CurseForge, an unreleased Steam competitor from Amazon Game Studios, which reads more like cancelled, not unreleased, like they just stopped making it. Twitch SOC internal red teaming tools and creator payout reports from 2019 onwards. So just generally speaking, it seems like a massive security leak. Change your passwords, enable two-factor authentication, and probably generate a new stream key if you're a streamer yourself. Seems like the best course of action here. Tow it outside the environment. Just throw it away. Throw it away. The Void is supposed to be great body horror like The Thing. I'll check that one out too. Delete the app. Delete all of it. Delete Twitch. Twitch is a terrible platform. Get rid of it. You guys are giving me a ton of movies to watch. I want to make a reference to the Fantastic Four movie because there was like I want to make a specific reference to Fant Four Stick because there was actually a genuinely good body horror sequence when the Fant Four Stick 4 were discovering their powers for the first time after the incident. And there is some interesting body horror sequence there. It's PG body horror, so it's not gruesome. But yeah, Fant Four Stick. Fantastic Four, the one that came out years ago. If they have the source code, they can do things with the app. I don't know specifically what this means, honestly. 69k Amethyst, very nice. Yes, Fan Force Dick. Sounds like a Kiwi Farms hack. It was 4chan, more than something for justice. Which, yeah, allegedly... Where was the article that we read, actually? There was something that mentioned... Oh. There was something that mentioned in this... this other article we have. Where was it? The anonymous leaker has stated that this is just the first part of the content due to be leaked, but it hasn't started what they plan to release. Let's have a look. I'm sure there was something that was suggesting that maybe whoever it was that hacked it was doing so to try to motivate, like try to break up the monopoly Twitch seems to have on streaming. Anyway. Nightmare on Elm Street series has some good body horror moments, especially 2, 4, and 5, even though Nightmare 5 is a garbage movie. I think I've got enough examples, honestly. Waking up as Mr. Fant Four Stick or Thing would be pretty horrifying, I imagine. Yeah, definitely. How would the leak create competition in the video streaming space? Yeah, exactly. Like, it's hard to say what that could affect, but a big security risk like this, honestly, I don't even know. Honestly, I don't know what their goal was, but yeah. Gonna go to sleep, Radio Echo. Have a good one. That doesn't seem very well thought out as an argument against, or it doesn't seem very well thought out as a thing that the platform should deal with, or that other platforms should step up to. Like, what does it mean? Like, Twitch isn't down. No one's really capitalizing on this leak. Like, what's the solution here? What's gonna come from this? Probably nothing. We'll see. We'll follow the story as it develops, I suppose. There's probably going to be more information coming out about this pretty soon. Suggesting a funny tweet for later. Acclaimed author Joyce Carol Oates talking about they singular. More hate raids? Yeah, bring it on. Let's go. Well, at the very least, it seems like the hate raids have broadly dropped off. I haven't experienced any for quite a while. I took a brief week off a few weeks back. And when I came back, I haven't experienced a single hate raid since. So it's been interesting. I did see how New South Wales got a bigot premier. I did indeed. Do I have a story about... Well, we did talk about Dominic Perrottet before. We've got a man who has been called by members of his own Liberal Party. Right? They have called him... The other members of the Liberal Party here in Australia, which is the right-wing political party, have called Dominic Perrottet the most conservative premier New South Wales has had since World War II. So, did I turn on verified chat? No, I didn't. I had it on very briefly, but I got rid of it. Because, honestly, my major issue with this kind of thing... where were we? He definitely loves Trump. Yeah, he's a big Trump simp. Where were we? Moderation. Email verification is on. All chatters must have a verified email, but phone number verification is off. Phone number verification. Oh, hi, Tego, by the way. Did I not say hi? I thought I did. But yeah, phone verification's turned off because verified email is fine, but whatever. My particular umbrage with the fact that they implemented these policies, they implemented these channel privileges, the moderation privileges, on the streamer end, when really they should have phone verification on the back end of Twitch. Like, you should need to have a verified phone to even make an account or something like that. But anyway, that's just me. They did this wrong. You know, they just put the onus on the streamer again and said, here, another method for you to restrict your community. That's basically what it boils down to. Tried the 2FA but never got a code. That's weird. Frying pan to fire, exactly. Yeah, we went from an incompetent premier to one who might take away our rights, which is great. We'll see how we go. We'll also, he's a Catholic with 12 siblings and 6 children, so probably not great for reproductive freedoms. Yeah, expect abortion rights to come under fire for some weird reason. You know, that's going to be strange, isn't it? Let's have a look at what else. Is there any more news? Is there any more news around him? New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet to increase crisis cabinet's focus on economic recovery. Of course, his first course of action is to focus on the economy, not on the fact that people are dying all the time. He wants to get rid of mask mandates already. Of course he does. Of course he does. He doesn't believe in COVID, I bet. What's the bet he moves up to Canberra after fucking with New South Wales? Garen fucking teed. Garen fucking teed. There's a concern for some people about having to give Twitch their number, or people who don't have numbers. Yeah, it's fair. It's a tricky situation all around. I don't know. I know that Gladys Berejiklian is apparently moving to Warringah or something like that. Hey, Zara. Hey, Ziwa. Hey, Abby Pretty. Yes. Yes, I am, and I'm cut off. Sup? Said I'm not comfortable giving Twitch my phone number. That I'm not comfortable with giving Twitch my phone number and looking at today's events. Yeah, it does seem like there's some merit to that concern. Most certainly. Most certainly. Given the massive security risk associated with the platform right now. Interesting. Excuse me. We can have a look at... we can follow up on Dominic Perrottet if you would like, and then we can look at... whatever else we have. There's another Dominic in our news. Dominic Raab vows to tear up Human Rights Act. This is from the UK. New South Wales Premier Dominic Perrottet has announced changes to the role of the state's crisis cabinet, increasing its focus on supporting the economic recovery. Mr. Perrottet said this would happen in tandem with the safe and planned reopening of the state. As we hit the key 70% and 80% vaccination targets in coming days, it's not going to be days, it's going to be months. We need to ensure that our focus remains on keeping people safe and continuing to strive for above 90% vaccination rates, Mr. Perrottet said. Alongside this, we must have a sharp focus on how we support businesses and ensure people return to work and give the New South Wales economy the best chance of bouncing back. The New South Wales Crisis Cabinet that has overseen the state's handling of the pandemic will be renamed the COVID and Economic Recovery Committee to reflect the increased emphasis on the economy, business and jobs. The key committee will receive regular advice from economic experts. But there was no change of tack when it came to immunisation, with Mr. Perrottet echoing his predecessor Gladys Berejiklian's oft-repeated appeal. With more movement as people get back to normal life, we know the number of COVID-19 cases in the community may increase. And it is absolutely vital people continue to get vaccinated, he said. We don't want to stop just short of the finishing line. Earlier, the Premier flagged there could be small changes to the state's roadmap out of lockdown during a crisis cabinet meeting being held tonight. Restrictions will ease on Monday, including the reopening of retail, restaurants and bars after the Premier confirmed on social media that the state had reached the target of 70% of over 16s being fully vaccinated. I am going to do... when things reopen, I'm going to try to avoid public spaces as much as possible because I know they're going to start flooding with people all of a sudden. And I've already been pretty bad with going to public spaces. I keep going to the local supermarket because I need things. But I'm going to try to get everything I need in one fell swoop or get delivery. I'm going to go back to getting deliveries. This is great news. Oh, hang on. Restrictions will ease on Monday. Reach the target of 70% of over 16s. Okay. This is great news and a big step to a full reopening and a proper summer, he posted. A short time earlier, the new Premier said there would be an opportunity for some changes but would not be drawn on what those might be. But he ruled out bringing forward the day the state would reopen. We have said in relation to the day that will be Monday, Mr. Perrottet said. While we hit 70% today, we will do it on the Monday afterwards. I am committed to that. He said he had already discussed the proposed changes to the roadmap with the New South Wales Chief Health Officer, Kerry Chant, and that there will be further discussions at a meeting of the Crisis Cabinet this evening. I spent the day working through those matters, and once those decisions are made, I will let you know, he told reporters. Went to the shops today, nearly killed me because I haven't been out in months. So hang on. To be fair, this leak didn't include personal info like phone numbers. Still, phone number, SMS are the easiest way to compromise your account short of keyloggers. That's a fair point. Finally, feed is working. That's good, Izzy. How you doing? Do like the new account / followers need a verified phone number for the first X days option, as most malicious accounts are newly created or new followers. I might have to do that one specifically, just so I've got that baseline level of just so I've got that baseline of security for my account, for the stream. You reckon he's a COVID denier? Maybe. One of the most common hacks is convincing your phone provider to provide the hacker a SIM of your phone number, way easier than guessing your password. You renewed your password? Yeah, everyone go reset your password just because honestly, even if this Twitch leak thing is nothing, it's worth resetting your password just for security reasons anyway. Just do it, just like getting a vaccination. Just fucking do it. Anyway, you idiots. He was speaking before the swearing in of his new Deputy Premier Paul Toole at Government House in Sydney. With students due to begin returning to the classroom in 12 days, Mr. Perrottet conceded that the New South Wales Education Department did not know how many teachers were fully vaccinated. Excuse me. It's an incredibly important point because we want to make sure that our kids are safe, and part of that is that our teachers are vaccinated, he said. Schools will begin reopening on October 18. Mr. Perrottet said checks will be put in place to make sure teachers involved with face-to-face learning were fully immunized by then. Bottom line is if you are a teacher, you need to get double vaccinated, he said. Well, yeah, that's at least good. The Premier paid tribute to his new Deputy Premier as an incredible fighter for regional South Wales. New South Wales, not South Wales. Regional New South Wales. God, the way we've named things is fucking dumb. Anyway. He said the pair would be on the first flight out to the regions when travel restrictions were lifted. Wherever you live in this state, you should have access to the best services possible, he said. Mr. Paratet announced that the transport portfolio had been given to his unsuccessful challenger in the leadership ballot, Rob Stokes, who will add it to his planning portfolio. The Premier has not made any major changes to his ministry, but signalled a reshuffle was likely in the summer. I want to make sure the team I have is the best team that we have, and stability and continuity is important. Okay, there we go. Well, that's the most recent news about Dominic Paratet at the very least. I still don't like the prioritization of the economy over the people being healthy. I feel like case numbers are going to shoot up again. I'm worried. Anyway, Standby Password Gen is a good site for coming up with new passwords easily. Yeah. Just did that. Now entering it all on OBS in your Stream Deck again. Seems like my Stream Deck actually held on to my account for some reason. Dollars before skulls, pretty much. Anyway. Yeah, just reset it. Yeah, pretty much. I want to re-mention that authentication doesn't require a phone number. Use Authy two-factor authentication on Twitch, and they don't have my phone number. There you go. That's a good thing. Apparently, Dan Andrews is also being investigated. He won't last like next election. Do you mean Paratet or do you mean Andrews? Because the constant attack on Dan Andrews has been ridiculous, honestly. Prefer being able to click a button to come up with a complex password and using my browsers to store my passwords. I mean, that kind of works. Paratet? Okay. What else is there? Is there anything else about him? Because, like, I'm very, very sketchy on this guy. Given that 2016 Facebook post, you know, I'm just honestly very sketchy. And given the things that his own party has said about him, I'm like, holy shit, yikes. What's up with New South Wales? Yeah, Gladys is gone, and Paratet's in, which is quite frightening. A little bit frightening. A little bit. Anyway. Where were we? Okay. So this was an article sent to me. I forget who linked this, but Dominic Raab, another Dominic, vows to tear up the Human Rights Act. Amnesty International UK said Raab's plans represented the complete opposite of justice. There you go. Phoebe sent it to me. Thank you, Phoebe. Dominic Raab has promised to overhaul the Human Rights Act to end abuses of the legislation, sparking a backlash from campaigners about the possible loss of basic protections. Also, we're going to talk about Dave Chappelle and his association with J.K. Rowling. The Justice Secretary said Boris Johnson had given him the task of rewriting the law when he moved him from the Foreign Office in September's reshuffle. Raab said the move would bring common sense to the justice system. I hate the phrase common sense. Can we talk about the phrase common sense? Fucking hell. Like, common sense is basically just what you've been taught as a kid, what you've been indoctrinated to believe as normal within society's conventions, and anything that falls outside of that is not common sense and thus unreasonable and can be dismissed. Common sense is a stupid fucking term. But campaign group Amnesty warned politicians should not be removing rights of ordinary people with the stroke of a pen. In his speech to the Conservative Party conference in Manchester, Mr. Raab highlighted the case of a drug dealer convicted of beating his ex-partner who claimed to have the right to family life to avoid deportation. It is absolutely perverse that someone guilty of domestic abuse would claim the right to family life to trump the public's interest in deporting him from this country. We've got to bring this nonsense to an end. Jesus Christ. Allo Solus. Also the Deputy Prime Minister of the UK. Yeah, common sense means someone's biases, pretty much. And I didn't even realize, like, I legitimately didn't realize this until sometime more relatively recently. You know, it's one of those things where, like, to me, common sense aligns with my values. Obviously. You know, when I think of common sense, oh yeah, it's just common sense to show people basic respect. It's common sense to not be a bully, to not nitpick at a person's identity and all those kind of things. And then I go on Twitter and it's turfs all day. You know? What we call common sense is nothing but a liturgy of received dogmas and unquestioned assumptions. Pretty much. Android, thank you for giving a heck. Shocked and horrified. At a fringe event, Raab said the problem was with the powers the domestic legislation had given to judges rather than the European Convention on Human Rights itself. The problem is not the convention, it's the way it's been interpreted, and in particular the license given to the courts in this country under the Human Rights Act to adopt through judicial legislation, ever more elastic interpretations of rights. In his speech, Raab said the government will transform the way the justice system treats violence against women. He said he was shocked and horrified by the harrowing murders of Sarah Everard and Sabina Nessa. And he said, making our community safer so that women can walk home at night without having to look over their shoulder, as your Justice Secretary, that is my number one priority. We will transform the way the justice system treats violence against women. The transformation will include from the time it takes to examine phone evidence to the potential ordeal vulnerable victims can face at trial, he said. Raab acknowledged that backlogs in the justice system built up during the pandemic could take 6 to 12 months to clear. Now, with regards to Sarah Everard and Sabina Nessa, I'm actually not 100% caught up on those cases. I know they're horrible cases, but I'm not fully informed on the details there. I need to go back and read the full story there so I understand it. His plan to rewrite the Human Rights Act is the latest attempt by Tory ministers to tackle the legislation which enshrined in the European Convention on Human Rights into domestic law. Over mighty government. Sasha Deshmukh, Amnesty International UK CEO, said the Human Rights Act has been key to some of the biggest justice fights over the last 30 years. From Hillsborough to the Mid-Staff's hospital deaths to years of human rights violations against women activists in the Spy Cops scandal. Speaking of Spy Cops, I've just thought of PsyOps, which Shoe on Head or someone linked a video and said this feels like a PsyOp. I'll try to find what I'm thinking of. It's about abortion rights. Well, there's a video I want to check out. Anyway, this deeply unacceptable delay to setting up a public inquiry into the government's handling of the COVID pandemic is just one example of why the Human Rights Act is so important. The Human Rights Act is a key protection against an overmighty government, and we need it now more than ever. Politicians should not be removing the rights of ordinary people with the stroke of a pen, whilst giving ever more powers to the police and protecting members of the establishment from proper scrutiny. That's the complete opposite of justice. Is it the one you're thinking of? Drop the link to it and I'll see. It might be the one you're thinking of. Shadow Justice Secretary David Lammy said, after 11 years of Tory government, court backlogs have reached record levels, violence and self-harm in prisons have soared, rape convictions have plummeted, and many women have lost confidence in the criminal justice system. Yet instead of addressing any of these problems, the new Justice Secretary chose to focus on vague threats to take away ordinary people's rights. Shoe, I know, Shoe is a mess. Shoe on Head's an entire mess. Let's not get into Shoe. But at any rate, there's some UK news for you. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe I bookmarked it. We can probably remove this one from bookmarks. Remove this one from bookmarks. It's not in here. Did I like it? Oh, okay, so here we go. The guy said he is not a feminist and thinks trans people do not need more rights. Yeah, I'm in New South Wales. So when I talk about Aussie news, I generally frame it around New South Wales because it's the thing I know the most about. Yeah, I can't find it, sadly. Let me see. Let me see if I just type, this feels like a PsyOp. No, can't, let's just try PsyOp. Where is it? I can't find it. Damn it. And you're back to work already. I'll catch you some other time, Phoebe. So 2A, it's just set up 2FA, which kicked me out of Twitch and forced a relog. You need to provide a phone number to set it up, even when using Authy or similar. Oh, that's annoying. I didn't actually get to watch it, but I think it was something relating to abortion. I need to find it. I wanted to watch this. Let's have a look. Did I like it? Maybe I liked the tweet, which is going to be hard to go through because I've got so many things that I like. A lot of things. I honestly, I'm shocked I didn't even like the post. God damn it. Was it the BS progressive pro-life stuff? Pretty much, yes. Like that was the video I was thinking of. There was a video that I saw and I only took a glance at the comments and read a little bit about it, and I wanted to watch the actual video. It's about 2 minutes long. 1:58 or something. I can't remember specifically, but I was interested in that specific thing. I wanted to show on the stream. I didn't even think to to bookmark it on Twitter or save the link or anything like that, because it was trying to frame abortion and pro-life as a progressive ideal in a way to manipulate people from the left over to being pro-life, I'm assuming, which is, yeah. Oh, dear Lord. I'm glad I didn't have my screen open. I'm glad I didn't have my screen open on Twitter just then, because that's the one. Thank you, Ziwa. I have a friend who quite gleefully posts nudes all the time, and I just saw like whole ass gridlock on my timeline. Like, damn. It was Jesus. I don't give a shit who I follow on Twitter, honestly. Like, with all the BIPOC and LGBTQ plus people talking, yeah. Like, honestly, if someone tries to drag me for liking a picture of titties or something on Twitter, I'm just like, so fucking what? I like titties. Deal. But I don't want to show that on stream. It's TOS. This is a family-friendly stream. We only show family-friendly content on here, like abortion-related videos. Let's have a look at this. Okay. Can like what you want. Yeah, exactly. You can. Okay.
We are feminists, Black,
Indigenous, Latinos, people of color,
and white allies.
we are atheist, Muslim,
Christians, Jewish,
and
Why did they start with atheist when it came to the religions? Why did they start with atheist?
everything in between.
we are gay,
Straight,
Bisexual.
transgender,
Music is overpowering as fuck, by the way.
non-binary,
and gender non-conforming.
And we believe
the progressive values of
Equality, non-violence, and non-discrimination
are incompatible with abortion.
abortion violence is the redistribution of the oppressed.
Yeah, it's cringe already, isn't it? Jesus Christ. The music is too loud. The audio quality is atrocious. If you wanted to put this video together, transgender as its own gender, I know. This is a bunch of theater students trying to make a buck. It may well be.
People of color,
Women, the LGBTQ plus community,
people who can give birth,
and people from low-income backgrounds experience onto an even more vulnerable population.
the unborn.
Today, we are standing
The unborn is not a population.
up.
Standing up.
Standing up.
To the Democratic establishment and saying no more.
No more.
No more.
No more.
Not
Black
this video,
lives
yeah.
Trans rights are human rights.
Love is love.
Jesus Christ, this is such a fucking psyop. No fucking way, dude. Someone made a good comment on this where it's like, this is a relatively new account and previously the only people associated, was it Chaos Ismail? The only people associated with this have previously been attached to like conservative think tanks and stuff. It's fucking ridiculous.
And let the unborn live.
They don't need to live. There's like 8 billion people on the planet.
Abortion has no place in the progressive movement.
El futuro es pro vida.
We are the progressive anti-abortion uprising, and we will not be silenced.
It feels like parody, doesn't it?
We will not be silenced. The pro-life revolution begins now.
Comienza ahora ya.
Reading off a teleprompter. Progressive anti-abortion uprising. Holy shit, fuck off. No fucking way, dude. No, this is not real. This is a theater project. This is a parody. Let's have a look. Your fucking revolution is pro status quo, quite literally. And then we look at this. They're getting ratioed to all fuck. Let the unborn. Yeah, they're not living. You can't. If a fetus cannot live outside the womb, it doesn't count. I'm sorry, but it doesn't count as a life unless it can take its first breath and survive outside the womb. Tough shit, you know. do they not realize? Like, how do they feel about miscarriages that happen when there is a fetus? You know, how do they feel about miscarriages, just generally? Revolution to keep what's going on already, pretty much. Drove through Texas and there were many pro-life across America billboards looming over the highways. Not a single one depicted a woman. That's interesting. Hello, I'm reading from a script and demand that abortion be banned, pretty much. This would have convinced you when you were younger. That's honestly what scares me even more. It's like, this is clearly targeted at progressive young people. Like, they're trying to frame this all as though this is actually a legitimate progressive movement. And susceptible young people are going to watch this and actually believe this shit. This is what I actually genuinely worry about this. So anyway, hi there. Where can I learn more information about you? I can't find out anything beyond a few articles on Fox and conservative Christian periodicals, and your website doesn't have an about page. Are you a registered nonprofit? I love Katie's response though. Fuck off. Beep beep boo boo, shut the fuck up. By contrast, excess food has never once been a problem under socialism. What the fuck? Hang on, what's this? This is not related. This is more tweets. No, show me more replies to this. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the thing. Let's see. Founded in August, a whole 500 followers, no internet presence, news write-ups exclusively from right-wing and conservative outlets, probably a totally real and not astroturfed group of progressives who just happen to parrot every old anti-choice argument. Yeah, I got more tweets, so whatever. I just don't like kids. Yeah, I'm pro-abortion but anti-choice. Anyway, I like just no kids anymore. No pregnancies. Terminate them all straight away. It's a joke. It's humor. It's for ha-has. Anyway, it's probably a better joke than what Dave Chappelle's telling lately because he just hates trans people. I think pro-life people do have a point. They don't mean it's literally alive, but rather that this person's life is already in action. Ultimately, I think it comes down to your spiritual beliefs, but definitely shouldn't be imposed as law or anything. That's the problem, though. It's purely from a spiritual perspective of manipulating people and forcing people with uteruses to carry another life to term when the life of the person, I'm just going to say this right now, honestly, the person carrying that fetus, their life is more valuable than the fetus. What has the fetus done aside from just exist? You know, does anyone take Twitter seriously? Shockingly, yes. Terminate them immediately in Minecraft. The left-wing agenda, mandatory gay Muslim abortion vaccines for everyone. Oh no, the founder of PAAU follows one trans person. Caitlyn Jenner. Fucking Christ, you're kidding. They literally say it begins now, meaning they admit it didn't exist before. Domain registered to a Toronto company. Probably Twitter takes itself seriously. Let's have a look at the quote tweets. Everything about this is an op. Absolutely, yes. There was another one, though. There was another one that I'm thinking of. You are a totally organic grassroots movement and not in any way a right-wing astroturf group with 600 followers whose only media mentions are in Catholic news outlets and on Fox News. Damn, if only people had a certain, shall we say, class-centered politic had warned ahead of time that the cynical liberal binding of progressiveness to marginalized bodies and identities would ultimately backfire. What? Pro-life but make it woke. There are dozens of us. How much money goes into these campaigns? If it's this, like $20. If it's this video in particular, it doesn't seem like much money, honestly. Was a male trad wife. Thing is, fetuses have potential. That's what people care about. The potential life. Yeah, exactly. And it's not the potential life that's the issue. It's the potential for what was the Carlin quote? Like, unborn fetuses can grow up to become dead soldiers or something along those lines. What we should do with the fetuses? Exterminate. I'm not playing a Doctor Who clip because I can't stand the series, but anyway. Yeah, what they care about is the idea. They don't care about the fetus itself. It's ultimately pro-life boils down to forcing people with uteruses to churn out kids to propagate the race. Not the species. It's generally speaking a pretty white supremacist talking point. It usually stems from Anglo-Saxon Protestants, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, WASPs. It's all about propagating the race. It's all about keeping the white race. Why do you think there are so many hyper-religious families like Dominic Perrottet with so many fucking kids? And they want to keep as many white people. And I know, like, if you restrict abortion, that affects BIPOC communities as well. For the record, I'm aware of that. But the whole point is, like, the ends justify the means to them. State-enforced pregnancy, pretty much. So they are trying to propagate the race, and if they start seeing a rise in BIPOC pregnancies or BIPOC birthing rates and things like that, trust me, if they establish as much of a white supremacist state as they would like, they'll find other avenues to get rid of them. And one of the what was I going to say? There was a point that ties into this. It comes back around to that. What's it called? That common right-wing talking point about white erasure, basically, being overpopulated or whatever it is. I don't often say this, but holy shit, does this feel like a fucking psyop? That's the one. Yeah, I couldn't think of it. That's the one. Has anyone seen the Tomb of the Unborn Soldier picture? No, I haven't. They want more babies so that they can grow up to be dead soldiers. Precisely, yes. The white race is so in danger of becoming a minority. I know, it's kind of ridiculous. I like how we're all just parroting the the Carlin quote at this point. Replacement theory. Yeah, the great white replacement theory, pretty much. They fear being bred out. Birth mortality rates are higher in marginalized communities, and honestly, given that the pro-life movement is broadly a waspy movement, they have probably factored that into their argument. They're probably aware of it. Carlin was pretty pog. Rip in peace. What is this now? Why are people... Why is this person responding to me like 4 months late? What the fuck, dude? This was... Well, July. What? When's July, September, August? 3 months ago. So almost certainly... Why are you replying 3 months late? What? The hell? Why is this sending me a notification for now? What the fuck? I'm getting a notification. Never mind. Whatever. I'm just gonna mute this conversation so I don't get any notifications for it. What the fuck, Twitter? What are you do? Oh, great. You know what's gonna happen. Twitter's going down tomorrow, isn't it? We had Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp going down a couple of days ago. Twitch has all their data leaked. Twitter's going down tomorrow. Everyone go back to Tumblr. Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. Holy shit. Had a tweet to respond to for the last month. Then YouTube. It's all going down. It's the end of the world as we know it. Google's going. Everything's going. I'm just like, only trust MySpace. Hang on, MySpace is still around. Featured content on MySpace. We'll have to use Bing. Yeah, MySpace is still around, but I don't know if anyone's actually using it. You can go and get on MySpace if you want to. It's mainly a media, like a pop culture site now. Tom foresaw and Tom got out when he could. What the fuck, dude? Okay. It's been a music platform for longer than it was popular, yeah. It's kind of funny, actually. It's kind of weird to look back on that. It's like, can I get in your space? Maybe you could. Anyway, all the Supernatural fandom is coming back with a vengeance. Super Who-Lockians. Anyway, as long as they don't take down Rule 34 and E621. Yeah, MySpace is now a music platform. Seems like it's generally just like a... What's it called? What the dealie? Not much, Amber. We're just sort of vibing now. We were just talking about this weird, allegedly progressive anti-abortion union or whatever the fuck it is. Some absolute right-wing psyop. Anyway. E621 is the E number for MSG. And now, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this thing. Why have I got so many notifications? What's going on? Announcements. Oh, yeah. All the streamer discords I'm in are now talking about the Twitch leak. That's why I've got a bunch of like at everyone posts in my discords. Progressive. It's not actually progressive, but basically there was a... Oh, I can't read this article. Hang on, let me open this in incognito mode because I don't want to do this. Your ad blocker is on shit. Shut the fuck up. How about just don't have ads then? Go out of business. I don't give a shit. Anyway. Basically there was this weird video, really fucking weird video, oddly put together piece that had a bunch of alleged progressives saying, this is my identity, basically. They were saying stuff like, I'm white, I'm black, I'm atheist, I'm Christian, I'm this, I'm male, female, transgender, gay, straight, etc., etc., etc. Doing that whole dramatic thing, going through all these different identities, and we stand against abortion because like being pro-abortion is anti-progressive, and like they didn't actually, I don't think they actually had any kind of reasoning in their video whatsoever. I just watched the fucking thing and I can barely remember it because it was that forgettable and that stupid. But anyway, remove ads from the internet. Yes, please. Anyway, so let's take a look at this to round out the night, because I know Dave Chappelle is a controversial figure in general. Dave Chappelle says he's Team TERF, defends J.K. Rowling in new Netflix comedy special. Yay! Just what we need. Another influential celebrity dragging transgender people for no reason. Dave Chappelle is sparking conversation about transphobia as he addresses past comments about the trans community in his latest Netflix comedy special. And let's not act like this is news. Dave Chappelle's always been transphobic. The Closer, the sixth installment in the comedian's Netflix deal, which the Chappelle's Show comedian describes as his last special for a minute, includes tongue-in-cheek jokes about race, the COVID pandemic, and negotiating the release of DaBaby after the rapper's homophobic comments. Oh no, you didn't. I might have to figure out what that's about, but Jesus. But Chappelle's comments on the transgender community, a topic for which he has received backlash, are stirring up more feedback. Chappelle doubled down on his transphobic jokes by weighing in on comments J.K. Rowling made in December 2019. The Harry Potter author conflated sex with gender and defended ideas suggesting that changing one's biological sex was a threat to her own gender identity. It was just fetuses are a minority because they're so weak. Yeah, it's literally not an argument. Holy shit, they had to reach so hard to get to that point. They cancelled J.K. Rowling. They cancelled one of the wealthiest female authors in the world. Oh no. What happened to her career again? Anyway. The thing is when, like, if I were to get cancelled, let's say, right? And like, I know this is a ridiculous concept, but let's just say, for example, I were to get dragged. Let's just say, for argument's sake, some layman. Some regular dude who just has a regular job, right? Says something negative on social media and it goes viral. Says something racist or sexist or transphobic, homophobic, anything. Just some regular guy. And the internet latches onto his comment, it goes viral, and people find out his personal details and contact his employers, and word gets out. His face is all over the news. His face is all over social media. Everyone knows who he is. Destroys his life, right? Loses his job. Family leaves him, etc. And no one's willing to employ him. He ends up on welfare, maybe out on the streets or whatever. That could be argued to be an instance of someone being legitimately cancelled. Like, destroy someone's life because of comments they made. I don't want to hear that shit when it comes to wealthy fucking billionaires. Okay? None of these people who claim they've been cancelled, all it is like, it's like it mentioned here, is backlash. That's all it is. You say stupid shit, you catch backlash. That's the consequence of it. But rich people shouldn't be talking about this shit, honestly. If someone, like, and this is the thing, is they use that rhetoric themselves. Any of the people who are routinely commenting on the cancel culture thing are using that argument, it could happen to you! This spooky, scary cancel culture. It'll destroy your life as well. Except these people are rich. These people are fine. They're covered. Lay people are not gonna... Like, if someone average were to get cancelled, quote unquote, then yeah, there's an argument. But rich people, they should just shut the fuck up about this shit. They're complaining that people on Twitter didn't like comments they made. It's so pathetic. Free speech for everyone except rich people. Cancelled and so silenced that they're all over TV and the news. Exactly. It's nonsense. And yeah, like, you're absolutely right. They want to be racists in peace. They want to be able to say stupid shit and not get called out on it. Anyway. And this is, you want to know what it is? Social media has become such a monolith in modern culture that everyone's allowed to have a voice. And in a way, the way that social media operates is that it actually does give a voice to the voiceless in when you look at, say, a celebrity like J.K. Rowling says something fucking stupid. Or like that person before said something fucking stupid. Hang on. Izzy, you have to shoot off. Have a good one. Thank you so kindly for being here. But like, let's just say, for example, someone says some dumb shit, right? Someone famous, someone well-known says some dumb shit on Twitter. And somebody else can ratio them by, like, owning them with facts and logic and reason. And then the rest of the community will bear down on that famous person and say, you're wrong, here's why you're wrong, here's the facts of the matter, yada, yada, yada. Stop being a bigot, stop being an asshole. You know? And they'll get blasted for it. People like Chappelle, people like Rowling, people like, what's it called? Fucking Ricky Gervais. Others who feed into this cancel culture rhetoric, you know what it is? They came up in a world where social media wasn't that powerful, where social media didn't allow people to speak their minds back at celebrities. Their careers started in a time where they could get away with doing all this edgy commentary and making these sorts of commentaries, you know? And then nowadays, with the advent of social media, all of those lay people are able to look at their favorite celebrities and respond to them in real time. You post some dumb, racist, homophobic, sexist shit, or you say it in the DaBaby situation, the internet can snap back at you. All those normal people can finally say something to all those celebrities that for the longest time have been able to get away with saying whatever they want. They've lived in this comfortable little enclosure away from the normal folks for so long that they're used to it, and now that everyone else is saying, oh, you know what, you're a dumbass, they're like, oh no, they're trying to destroy my career. Anyway, sorry to get off on this tangent. Read JKR's essay. While I'm sorry she was subject to abuse, it really had nothing to do whatsoever with trans people. Exactly. Complete non sequitur, assigning blame where it does not belong. Bingo. I kind of want to reread the TERF essay just to punish myself. I'm not sure what to think about Dave Chappelle about this, since someone I know who watched the actual video said it comes off more as him saying he'll stop making transphobic jokes until transphobia is less endemic to society, which I guess is a relative step up, but I don't care enough to watch it myself and confirm. Fair point. However, let's come back around to this. The Harry Potter author complains they cancelled J.K. Rowling. My God, Chappelle says. Effectually, she said gender was a fact. The trans community got mad as expletive. Probably fuck or something. They started calling her a TERF because she is. I'm Team TERF. I agree, man. Gender is a fact. What do they say? Gender or sex? Which one is it? Which one are you going for? While the traditional gender binary definition applies to those who were born either male or female at birth, many identify, that's a new word. Many identify as non-binary and don't consider themselves solely man or woman. Chappelle says he has never had a problem with trans people, but experts say the use of TERF is problematic for the trans community. What is a TERF? Stands for Trans Exclusionary Radfems. Term describes feminists who are transphobic. They're not feminists. In his special, Chappelle gave the proper definition but added, they look at trans women the way we blacks might look at blackface. TERF views deny the validity of transgender people and transgender identities, said Sarah McBride, National Press Secretary for the Human Rights Campaign. You have no clue what a TERF is. Trans exclusionary radical feminists. Sounds like he's saying gender is sex. Feminist glossary. McBride noted that such views are not rejected only among most feminists in the United States and supporters of LGBTQ rights. TERF ideology can result in reinforcing prejudices that lead to other forms of discrimination many transgender men and women can experience, such as housing or employment. Discrimination can also lead to physical violence, which disproportionately affects the trans community, especially transgender women of color. What does social media have to say? Do we care? Past backlash against Chappelle's trans jokes. Chappelle has come under scrutiny before for his commentary about the trans community. In Sticks and Stones, he bemoaned how society is increasingly politically correct while saying sarcastically how difficult it must be for trans people. They're so confusing. This idea that the person can be born in the wrong body, they have to admit that's a fucking hilarious predicament. I mean, I look at this, honestly, I laughed at this joke as a trans woman. Because honestly, my life makes no sense. That's what's funny about it, honestly. Contrarian opinion here. I look at this particular joke and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty fucking funny when I think about it. And the reason I think it's funny personally is because society has generally taught me, you are what your body was born as. But like the moment you begin to understand what gender and sex are and the distinction between them, you begin to realize how little gender itself makes sense. I call myself a transgender woman because it's the label. I call myself a woman. Sorry. I could frame it as a transgender woman, but generally speaking, I call myself a woman because it's the label and it's the identity I feel most comfortable with. But the more I unpack gender, the more I'm just like, none of this shit makes any sense, guys. It only makes sense because you're told it makes sense. You are instructed that it makes sense, and then you just parrot that back to people as time goes on. But, a truly gender egalitarian society would be one where gender doesn't exist anymore. It would basically be a gender abolitionist society. Is the only one that would lead to a true sense of equity among genders would mean there would be no genders. No one would have a gender anymore. None of this gender shit makes sense. Yeah, exactly. At the end of his Closer special, he said he would no longer be making jokes about the LGBT community, but with a stipulation relating to DaBaby being cancelled for his homophobic comments, and Kevin Hart stepping down from the Oscars after refusing to apologize for previous homophobic comments. I am not telling another joke about you until we are both sure that we are laughing together, the comedian says. All I ask from your community, with all humility, will you please stop punching down on my people? On your people? What does that mean? Oh yeah, that was open in a private tab anyway. Fiat gender, it only has any value because we agree it has value. Social constructs. Comedians, I think that's what he was getting at. Network executives. Slightly annoying that trans-inclusive radical feminists can't be a thing because the acronym would be pronounced the same. His people is rich comedians. Technically speaking, if you want to think about it, really wealthy millionaires are a minority. Like, celebrities are a minority. Technically. My existence makes no sense. Me agrees in furry, yeah. That's it though, isn't it? I like the fact that I'm a woman. I like the fact that I'm trans. I do have a lot of love for my identity. I do have a lot of love for people like me. But none of this shit makes any sense, bro. It's fucking dumb. But that being said, you're my friends. You're my family. You're cool. My gender is an Italian compact car. I did see a funny TikTok recently that tackled the attack helicopter thing. Because who among us here, don't make an Among Us reference, who among us here has made the joke of like, that is so gender? Like, you point to something, like, honestly. And like, it could be an inanimate object, right? But like, just personally, like, Carmilla of Styria is so gender, right? She's gender, But wait, like, you make a remark of a thing. Dark Souls is fucking gender. It makes no... Because, honestly, the whole term makes no sense. It's kind of a way of saying you identify with a thing. There are elements... Because we know that gender is a part of what you identify as. Right? There are many other facets, ethnicity being a big one. Religion being a big one. Family. Like, there are many facets to your identity beyond your gender. And there's a bit of a jab that gets around, I've noticed. And yeah, like, you could say I'm gender. You could say, that could just be a way of saying I'm goals, or saying you admire me, or something like that. I've seen a couple of trans people, notably trans people, remarking that thing X, Y, or Z, it's so gender, man, it's gender. And this person posted a TikTok that was words to the effect of, I could totally see cis-het dudes making the attack helicopter remark, like, yeah, that's so fucking gender. Because, like, the attack helicopter kind of comes across as this hyper-masculine thing, doesn't it? It's associated with death and war and destruction, and it's like it's black and it's got guns. It's stupid. Twitch League's agenda. Hello, Radar. How you doing? Really don't understand Among Us memes. Think they're stupid and immature. I've only played like 2 games of Among Us, honestly. Oh, Lily. Bionicles are fucking gender. Hell yes. There's a site out there with heli gender on it that indicates it exists both for those who feel like attack helicopters are gender and for those mocking the old meme. What's more gender, a pack of Kleenex or a mug with a mustache on it? Just to get it better. Probably the mug with the mustache. Identify as princess sometimes, but that's about it as far as it goes for me. If you had bionicles as a kid, you are likely trans or non-binary. Now, I had a lot of bionicles. Fuck. I want to get the original 6 again. I hate this. I want to get the original 6 again. Somebody buy me the original 6 Bionicles so I can put them on my shelves. Because I love them. They were my childhood and I want them back. I've lost them over the years and I hate it. Try to identify as sexy whenever I can. You had a few. Bionicles are great. Your ex-military said the macho stuff you feel. I remember Tarzos. Okay, we had Pogs. But I remember Tarzos specifically. Bionicles might have been particularly popular in Australia. I don't know. Let's see here. I just want to look something up. You were too old to have Bionicles your childhood. Aww. Tarzos. Yeah, Tarzos were basically Pogs. But they were... These are not the originals. No, these are not the original Bionicles. Give me the original 6 Bionicles. If somebody can find the original 6 Bionicles and buy them for me, I will love you forever. Anyway. That's beside the point. Okay, where were we? What have I missed? But yeah, Tarzos were... Oh, there we go. Thank you, Lady Necro. That's a lot of money. Jesus Christ. I can't afford it. There's no fucking way. But, you know. So $1.50 it is. That's $315. Throw shipping in there. $315 plus $74. Fuck. Okay. For shipping. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's many monies. But I love the original 6. They are so good. Like, look at this. Look at this majesty right here. Holy fuck. Anyway, I got distracted. If you're looking to cringe, filter the past day on YouTube and search trans, Fox News, Matt Walsh, Blair White. Oh, shit. Oh, good lord. How do I search by the past day? I don't know how you do that. What have I found? What's... 12 hours ago. Oh, look, she's still going. Alana Smith is still going with the trans athletes thing, because of course she is. Feminist speaks out against trans movement. Dan Crenshaw reacts to Biden lifting the transgender ban on military service. That was 8 months ago. Oh, this one's 2 years ago. Oh, there you go. Filters. Today. Okay, so we got female student athletes fight back against the woke mob pushing transgender competitors. Matt Walsh reacts to benefits of dating trans women. That's again from 3 months ago. Watch trans person berates Sonic employee after being misgendered. Matt Walsh crossed state lines just to say he is transphobic. What else is there? That's got 8 views. Today. Filter by today. Female athletes, the one transphobe, yeah. Demi Lovato, trans or trend hopper. Thank you, Blair White, for your input there. That's awesome. Can a cis guy date a trans person? Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Ooze. How's it going? What's going on? So strange seeing Lacey Green. Who's Lacey Green? I know that name. I know Ariel Scarcello. Probably not going to react to anything, though. Lacey Green. Her content focuses on sex education. Oh, yeah, I remember her. Sorry, I was too distracted by the Bionicles. Anyway. Had a dream the other night that you owned the posters that came with these in full frame, then you woke up. Oh, rip. Favorite original was Pohatu. Thought Pohatu was a girl and was heartbroken recently that you found out he wasn't. Yeah, there's only Gali was a girl. And yeah, Ariel Scarcello is a cis lesbian transphobe. And Blair White is a hetero trans transphobe. I haven't heard of Lacey Green being transphobic specifically, but I mean, at this point, throw any name of any well-known person at me and say they're a transphobe and I'll believe you. I just genuinely at this point, I'm like, yep, that makes sense. Cool. Fucking awesome, mate. Oos. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, bro. Let's do some more transphobia. Love it. It's fucking great. Anyway, can you tell I'm done with this shit? Fuck. I'm a bit over the whole transphobia thing. Can y'all move on? Please pick a new thing to hate that's like not affecting anyone's identity. Christ on a cock. Birds of a feather flock together, that they fucking do. I was tempted to raid Steph Bendixson, but she's playing Life is Strange, and I wouldn't want to spoil that for anyone who's into it. Radhom's doing politics. Let's go to Radhom. I don't remember the last time I raided Radhom, but you know, it's past midnight for me. I'm actually overtime. Anyway, well, I'm overtime, but I'm doing shorter streams recently. I'm also finding I'm a lot more energetic tonight. Anyway. I keep pausing the fucking ads. No, don't pause the ads, because then I'll get into the stream and I won't actually see the stream going. Anyway, that's it for tonight. I will be back on tomorrow at 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, not Australian Eastern Standard Time. I need to update my schedule, and I'm going to buy myself a planner as well, which is not related to anything in specific. But we are going to go swing by Real Radhom, who is doing some miniature painting and some politics. Opus Dei, which we talked about with regards to Dominic Perrottet recently. Spirit Science and the Pandora Papers. I meant to cover the Pandora Papers and I didn't. I'm not a good newscaster. Holy fucking shit, dude. How do I do this? How do we do the news? Somebody tell me how to do the news. Because that's my main gig. Anyway, live 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time tomorrow. And on Friday we will be streaming, there you go, Ooze, by the way, before I forget, Euro Truck Sim 2. And then pretty soon we're going to do the Outer Wilds DLC, I think. Have a good one, folks. Be kind to yourselves and each other. I love your faces, and I'll see you when I'm looking at you.